disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be alright, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
We just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing.
Lobito!
Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
All right, welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. This is your good friend, Mr. BDA, and alongside with me, as always, my co-host, the one, the only King, Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Now, Bucho, do me a favor, man, because I haven't tested this out. Can you hear the sounds here?
Give me a fucking answer. Give me a fucking.
Okay, fantastic. I wasn't sure if you could hear it. All right, listen, fellas, thank you for joining us. This episode, well, first of all, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas to anybody that didn't get the message in the last couple of episodes. Thank you for being on, and thank you for being part of the BDA Boxing family. Always enjoy it. We got a sensational episode this Sunday evening because there's a lot of news going on, making the rounds in regards to the lightweights, the heavyweights, sensational Japanese fight we've got this Wednesday between Tanaka and Ioka. We got Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, and Teofimo Lopez all barking at each other on social media. That's the way it works now. So we've got a lot to talk about. But first, before we get down to the fun, let's get the business out of the way, fellas. If you get a couple of shekels that you can donate our way, you can certainly send them to us via the Super Chat feature during the show, or the BDA Patreon page, or the BDA PayPal page. Of course, the most important thing is that you continue to subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and liking this video, spreading the BDA gospel. Don't forget, we've also got BDA merch that has been worked on by the finest homosexual Italian designers, so you are sure to get compliments for carrying around this sensational merchandise. So go ahead and check it out. It helps, man. It helps for the upkeep, the Blog Talk Radio, the phone calls, Spreaker, putting all that together, the infrastructure. It ain't cheap, let me tell you, but we do it all for you, fellas. All right, now, shout out to everybody in the chat room. I'm talking about, I see Precise is in there. Shout out to Precise, aka Fight Film, Triple JJJ. Shout out to Triple JJJ. Iceman, Ivan Gorgiev. Gorgiev? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Chief Fred, Tfor, Triple JJJ, Hard Recoil, B-Space, Manny, SSB28. Shout out to SSB. Shout out to Saint Brit Sports in the house. Jim McDonald Boxing, Mr. Wawa, Friendly Fire, Whiskey, Other Knox, Matt Verville, J Day, Ignorant Boxing, Real Bulldogs, and many more people to come. 1 foot out the door as well. Shout out to everybody. I see somebody just donated. How come I missed it? Oh, there we go. Vader D. Shout out to Vader. Says, BDA, the best boxing show on the web. Big hours. Well, thank you, Vader D. Really appreciate it, man. Absolutely appreciate it. Shout out to Vader D for his contributions. I see I've got Bucho on the line, and I got Gonzalo and Stu. Fellas, thank you for joining us.
Hey, how's it going, Mr. VDA?
Fantastic, man. It's fantastic. Hey, by the way, Stu, how did you survive that late night last week with your friend Jimmy after the Canelo Smith fight?
Oh, fucking hell. I got out there in the end. I had to go home. That guy was still going the next day. I got a missed. I went to bed, went home, went to bed, and I woke up and had a missed call from him, and apparently he was still going. I thought, fuck, that's enough for me. I don't want to...
Oh, man. Yeah, that was an epic show, man. Epic show.
Yeah, it was, man. I mean, he's a character, isn't he? But,
Absolutely.
like, you know, he doesn't understand that sometimes you have to let other people talk.
Well, it was a hectic show from the beginning, man. I mean, a lot going on, a lot of variables. People had a lot to say about that fight. Subsequently, we learned that Smith did have that torn bicep, but it wasn't like a torn bicep, they say. It was just like swelling or something, I believe, or maybe I'm misconstruing what I read. But, you know, people now are saying that maybe Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders is going to happen. Yeah. Let's start off with Canelo real quick, because I don't want this to be the Canelo episode, because we do have to talk about the lightweights as well. But Canelo is going to be fighting Yildirim, which is a fight that I loathe. It's a waste of time. But he says he's going to fight him in February, and then in May he's going to fight a tough opponent right away. So if that's what it's gonna how it's going to work out, then I really don't have a problem if he wants to take a tune-up. Yeah. Chavez used to do it all the time. Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. As long as there's a big fight at the end of it. A Yildirim fight is pointless. If it's a warm-up, then fair enough. But if you know, there has to be a big fight after that for me. But yeah, I mean, Callum Smith had this lump coming out of his bicep. That's what happens when you throw punches and hit thin air. Do you know what I mean? You rip biceps. I mean, the guy...
No, he didn't rip his bicep. Canelo punched him to the arm, similar to what Rocky Marciano used to do.
Yeah, well, whoever
beat him up to the body. Eliminate one of his weapons. That lead left hook, very powerful. He took that away from him.
Yeah, but I've never seen someone cover a lump out their arm like that through.
You know what? I was reading
usually the arm bruises and stuff and goes red, but to have a lump that looked like a tear to me. But hey, I'm not a doctor, man. Do you know what I mean? So.
Well, they were interviewing.
It doesn't matter, really. It doesn't fucking matter. He could have had 8 arms in there that night, and he still get his ass whooped. Just weren't good enough. You know, that's what I'm saying. There's levels to boxing, and I thought he'd go in there and give a better performance and a better account of himself, but he didn't. You know, and it wasn't surprising that he didn't really. Like I said, I don't really have too much love for Joe Gallagher fighters.
Oh, come on. You would just sample with Joe Gallagher. Come on. You got to leave that guy alone. He's trying his best. He's a good guy. I don't want to.
He's in as long as he's in boxing, he's there for me to criticize. And look.
All right, hold on. Stu, what did he do wrong this time?
He turned up to the arena, that for a start. I mean...
God, he turned up.
And then it just went downhill from there. Look, I mean... I'm not saying there's a game plan out there. I'm not saying that there's a game plan out there to beat Canelo. He looks unbeatable, but go in there with a game plan to at least make a go of it. Put your heart on the fucking. That was all just second, third gear stuff. It was all repetitive stuff as well. It's a sign of madness doing the same things and expecting different results when it's not working. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it was just a dreadful performance from Smith. And really, what did Gallagher do in there? What did Gallagher... You can bet your life he was, just take it slow for the first 7, first 8, and then we come in strong and in the end. I mean, just that's his game plan in every fight. How did this guy get Trainer of the Year? I mean, this shows where we are in boxing. Like Steve Bunt said, I mean, the thing with boxing, especially in America, all you got to do is have a good voice and a fucking gold chain around your neck. You can call yourself a trainer, and that's the problem with boxing. I mean, far too many people in boxing that got no business in it, and them Smith brothers always come short.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem with boxing. Anybody, you put a towel over your shoulder and boom, you're a trainer. By the way, shout out to Chris K for his contribution. He says, that thumbnail of Garcia is making me curious. LOL. Oh, come on, man. Chris K. Well, thank you for your contribution, Chris K. But that comment, I mean, you could have kept that one for yourself. You could have kept that one for yourself.
Man, that's a great ass.
Hey,
Canelo is Yildirim is Canelo's mandatory, so ain't nobody really can cry about Yildirim. I'm not interested in the fight either, but he is Canelo's mandatory. But outside of that, Canelo said Yildirim February 27th, BJS in May. Right? And so when we look at the landscape of that, that's 3 fights in a 6-month span, 2 of them being a champion and 1 of them being a damn mandatory. It shouldn't be no complaint.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. That's what I said earlier, because if it would have been a situation like that 2016 year he had where he fought Khan, and then like 5 months later Liam Smith, you're like, all right, you're gonna waste your 2 fights on those. But if he says he's gonna fight in February and then in May, then that's like
in
when
Mexico.
In Mexico, that's like when Chavez used to have those tune-ups, and then 2 months later, boom, he was in there against Camacho or for Medrick Taylor. You know what I mean? But also, though, there is the risk, though, I must say, there is the risk that he tears something or injures himself. But hey, listen, if he's willing to take that risk and he steps in there in May against Billy Joe Saunders, which according to what I'm reading here is might be the fight that they're going to take. And absolutely, go ahead, take your tune-up if that's what he wants. But I am curious, why does he insist on fighting Yildirim? Like, are there fans?
It's a mandatory. I just said that. It's not a tune-up, it's a mandatory.
Yeah, but so what? But so what? He doesn't need the belts. That's what I'm saying. Who cares?
Come on with that, bro. He's saying he's gonna clean out. See, this is where the shit is with Canelo. Now he don't need the belts, but he just said he's trying to clean the damn division out. So do we need the belts or don't he? You gotta have all 4 belts if you're gonna clean the division out.
Well, I never said he needs to. I never said he needs to clean the division. I just said he needs to fight the best. I don't care about. You know me already. I don't understand why we're getting into this with the belts. You know I don't give a shit about the belts. So that's my opinion. But then again, this whole thing is this whole point is moot, because if he fights, he's gonna fight in February and then in May. And I got no qualms about it. But come on, I mean, the fucking belts, I mean, that's what I don't understand. There's got to be an underlying reason.
4-belt undisputed has a lot to do with his legacy, BDA. You might not like it, but when he goes 4-belt undisputed, that's going to help him in the record book. So you ain't got to like it.
I want to know how Yildirim got. I want to know how Yildirim got into a position to fight for a belt. I mean, Yildirim.
Exactly. There you go. See,
Mark explained it.
This is the guy that Chris Eubank destroyed in 2 rounds. I mean, Eubank looked like Marvin Hagler in there that night. I mean, what is Canelo going to do to this guy?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he's going to knock Yildirim back to the fucking Ottoman Empire, man. That's what he's going to do.
But listen, all this whole thing about the 4 belts and all that, I'm sorry to say, but it's for the casuals, man, because it's a risk, man. He could injure himself in there. I don't want to act like a Jewish mother in there, but he could injure himself and ruin a big fight in May. But anyway, look, if that's what he wants to do.
But what are the chances? I mean, he's fighting Yildirim. We already saw what Yildirim brings to the table, which is basically not much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the risk is there, but is it high? I don't think so. And he wants to fight in Mexico. He hasn't fought in Mexico in a long time. Better do it now than, and it's a mandatory, by the way. So get it out of the way,
Exactly.
Listen, look, and look, for Canelo, I mean, it's got to be better to fight Yildirim like in a couple of months. That's got to be better than doing another training camp, just sparring for May, wherever. You just get in there, get paid, blow this guy away, and move on to the next big fight. Look, I don't mind this one, but the next one, there's just no excuses. It has to be Billy Joe or Golovkin for me.
You know what? For his sakes, I hope he doesn't pull a bicep or a groin muscle or a butt cheek or anything in there against Yildirim. Because if he does and he can't fight in May, Billy Joe Saunders, who's not afraid to speak his mind, is going to go in there and start saying, he's docking me. I can already see it. But then again, that's just more drama for...
Yeah, but you never know. Billy Joe Saunders is a sort of fucking guy, right? The fight could be made. If 3 days go before the fight is actually on, and he goes and does something stupid on YouTube, and the fight gets cancelled. This is the thing with Billy Joe. There's a lot involved. There's a lot involved in making big fights, and Billy Joe is just not the sort of guy that you can rely on to turn up on the night or keep his head down. And that's the problem with Billy Joe. I mean, Andrade. We talk about the Andrade fight. That fight was made, and then it gets cancelled over some.
Canelo.
Go ahead, D.
D, are you there?
We'll all see or something.
I think he's still there. Anyway, listen, I was going to say...
Canelo might have to pick another opponent because... Okay.
There was a delay, man. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying Canelo may have to pick another opponent because if Demetrius Andre been hollering for the BJS fight now, if he utilizes his WBO exclusion to go up and take that fight with BJS, Canelo has to step to the side. He can't get in front of that. It's the same thing that Usyk and Inouye and fucking Crawford and all of those guys use. He can't get in front of that. So if Demetrius Andre really want to do something with his fucking self, he could utilize his exclusion right now, get that belt, and that will pretty much lock him into a fight with Canelo.
Nobody wants to see Andrade in there. No, but yeah, it's true. Andrade should do something because he was gonna fight another guy who sounded like a country singer, and for some reason that fight fell apart, and now he's in limbo.
Yeah,
doing
knowing
commentary for
Andrade
his
is
own.
probably Kenny Rogers. Fucking get out of here, that fucking guy, man.
Hey, by the way, Eddie Reynoso, Canelo's trainer, said that Canelo isn't going anywhere but 168, so they're not planning on moving down for anybody, he says. And then he also said, we are not doing any favors to Golovkin or anybody by moving to 160. So that's what I basically said. Triple G has been fighting lower level fighters lately. So we are the A side right now. And if Golovkin wants to fight us, we're waiting on offers.
I think that's but that's Golovkin's. I think that's what Golovkin has to do, really. I think the big fights at 168 are probably there for. I just don't see Canelo shrinking himself down again to 160 to fight a guy who's already fought twice. Just don't see it. I don't think he cares too much about fighting Golovkin again. I think he's been forced on him again, sort of thing, by DAZN and them sort of guys. But I'm not sure he's too. Is that a duck for me? I mean, I just don't accept a duck when you've already gone in the done 24 rounds with a guy, been in the ring with him for 24 rounds. That's not a duck to me.
I have a question. I have a question for you, Stu. Who would have put a better fight, Smith or Golovkin?
I said, well, Golovkin would have gone in there to win. That's for sure. I'm never doubting that Golovkin wouldn't go in there to win and put it all on the line. Of course he would.
So why not see that fight instead of that?
That's why he's a great middleweight, and Callum Smith is just Callum Smith, isn't he? I mean, he'll be forgotten very quickly, and that's his own fault. Because when he had momentum, didn't build on it. He just kept fighting bum after bum. Fought Groves, was losing to Groves. A shot to pieces, Groves, by the way. Was losing that fight until he landed that left hook. He was doing nothing that fight either. Another Joe Gallagher game plan going to pot at the time. And luckily the left hook landed. But he hasn't moved on. I mean, when he went to America to fight, he fought. And damn, I'm fucking hell, man. That guy's been dropped more times than Gemma Jameson's fucking panties.
Oh,
so what is that proving to anyone?
Hey, by the way, we Butcher, when do we open the phone lines? At what time should we do that? About
I guess now. Well, Jimmy's on the line.
Yeah, Jimmy, I wanted to ask you. Let's start with this subject, the subject at hand, because. Oh, by the way, shout out to Kenshiro for his contribution. Kenshiro says Triple G should fight Charlo, boohoo, boohoo, and at 160, and then Canelo. All right, shout out to Kenshiro. That's a good plan. Fight Charlo. Listen, I've said it before. Triple G Charlo. That's not a fight I would mind seeing. By the way, Jimmy, the subject at hand is because there's a lot of drama now between these young guys at lightweight. They're barking at each other on social media. It's not something we're used to, but that's the way it's done nowadays. And there's some accusations now being thrown Ryan Garcia's way about being on the juice. Now, look, listen, I agree. I think he might be on something because, as I've said it before, and we've said it before here on the show, 99 or maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more, actually, of the top fighters are on something. The question is, which ones get cut and which ones don't? Now, they're saying Ryan Garcia is on the juice. They're rooting for, the people that are saying this generally root for Tank Davis and Devin Haney. Jimmy, is this a way to sort of preemptively discredit Garcia if he beats Campbell this coming Saturday? And if so, and if both guys, and if he's on something, doesn't it stand to reason that most of the top guys are on the juice or on some form of PED?
Well, yeah, no, you said it exactly right, brother. I mean, it's a preemptive strike. That way, if he beats Campbell, then it's going to, you know what I mean, discredit anything he's done. Listen, I haven't seen the pitches up close. I haven't seen his abs. I don't know if it's if he's messing with steroids at his age, it's pretty stupid because his testosterone level is already high enough. Being in his early 20s, he shouldn't fuck with it because remember, it shuts off after you take artificial shit. Turning it back on, turning your own natural juice, makers back on, is a pain in the ass. You got to take Clomid and all this other shit to do it right. I think didn't I read somewhere recently that he was in Germany recently too? I don't know if that was the kid I remember seeing visited Germany, but he has the money now. Why wouldn't he? But if he is taking it, I would imagine he would go to the same people Canelo goes to.
Well, I'm sharing a picture here with you fellas. This is from his Instagram. This is a picture in question that's been sending people into a frenzy in regards to whether he's natural or not. By the way, if you read the comments...
But you can be pumped too, though. You know what I mean, dude? You
That's
work
what I'm
out.
saying,
You know what I'm saying? When you're pumped, if you're like, you take that right, say he's just hit the heavy bag, right? He's done a shit ton of push-ups and got his muscles are all full of blood. So you look pumped, and the shit, sometimes the shadows can be right, you get the right lighting. You can, you know what I mean? There's all kinds of different things. So if he caught him at the end of a pump, the right shadows can cast lighting to make muscles look bigger. So, you know what I mean? But again, they're going to hop on anything I literally, before I go on this show, dude, I always do a little thing. I always go on Twitter for like 10 minutes to flip around just to see what's going on. And every time, just more and more mental cases saying ridiculous things.
He looks roided up to the max, to be fair. I mean, if he had long hair, I thought it was fucking Roman Reigns in there, man. Come on, man. I mean, look, the guy's...
What do you have? You have it up on this thing? Let me get on YouTube.
Yeah, shit, I just took it off, man.
Jacked up to the gills. Look, is what it is. Luke Campbell's he knows that when he fights Ryan Garcia in the States, it's things are not going to be going his way. The judge is not going to be on his side. The ref won't be on his side, and I doubt the drug test will either. So he knew what he was getting into for you. Look,
I think he is for sure.
Yeah,
he's with Eddie Reynoso and all those guys.
That's one thing about the amateurs. It gives you experience about traveling all over the world and fighting in different environments. It's experience that you just can't buy, and that's why. It should be another day at the office for Campbell, but looking at Ryan Garcia there, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the old PEDs.
Here's a question. Who think Campbell isn't?
Yes,
Talking about Ryan and his muscle, who thinks that Campbell's not doing it? Because I think he is too. I think he would be coming in there with something in him too.
Yeah, but that's the point. The point is that most of these guys... Hold on. The point is, most of these guys are on something. So the fact that they're excluding
your show
Devin
will
Haney,
go live in 5 seconds.
Jeez, hold on a second. Give me 2
3,
seconds.
Christ,
2,
shut up.
Hold on.
BDA, is that a scar on his shoulder?
I don't know. See, just look at the photograph there, fellas, on the thumbnail. Because
I'm looking at the photograph. Right? Doesn't that look like a scar up on his right shoulder going into his trap, or is that just?
Bucho, is that the syringe that you photoshopped in there? Bucho, is that
maybe a tattoo?
Bucho, is what Jimmy talking about? Is that a syringe that you photoshopped in there, or is there actually a scar on it? All right, Bucho.
No, I see up on his right shoulder, going into his traps. I think it's a tattoo wording down the front.
Anyway,
of it.
The point of all this,
he's
Jimmy,
not very.
The point of all this is that the Devin Haney fans are saying, well, Ryan Garcia's on something. But meanwhile, they're forgetting that Devin Haney himself might be on something. I mean, this is a guy that gets paid to box for a living, meaning he doesn't have to work a job like a guy like Andrew Cancio has to. And then, he goes at the gym and at night or his free time, whatever. These are the guys that can afford some of the best product out there. So for them to preemptively strike at Ryan Garcia and say, oh, look, he's on something, while overlooking the fact that Devin Haney might be on some shit too, and Tank Davis, and perhaps Luke Campbell, and Teofimo Lopez, and all these top guys. I mean, it's kind of cringe. Either you don't single out anybody and don't point the finger to anybody, or you have to do it for everybody.
And how old is he, BDA?
BDA, how many?
22 years old. Jesus Christ. So he's become a man. He's becoming a man right in front of us, at our very eyes, because we've been, dealing with this kid on social media, Instagram and shit, for at least 4 years. So, yeah, he came on the scene around when he was 18, when he first started making noise. 18 to 22 is night and day difference. It's like 22 to 32 to your frame and your body. So he's putting on his man muscle now, and that will finally, end growing when you're around 38 years old. Mm-hmm. But this is the transition. So he's going to automatically get thicker, and his joints are going to get bigger. It just comes with age.
Yeah, precise. Go ahead, man.
What's up?
Oh.
What's up, everybody?
What's up,
Think
Precise?
about it. How many, and this applies to all of them so-called lightweights today, how many guys do you know that are 5'10" or thereabouts and been lifting weights for years that weigh 135? Come on.
Yeah.
Of course all these guys are on something. There's no way these guys are natural lightweights. It's impossible, I think. But what's curious about someone like Gervonta Davis, and I'm not trying to single him out, I'm not, but like when he was forced to do VADA, he moved up in weight because of the slavery that we're all experiencing. Drug testing was suspended, and he moved back down in weight. You know, so it's like, come on, obvious.
Because that motherfucker juicing. That's why he juicing like a motherfucker. He can't have enough time to cycle off.
Well, look, listen. If you go ahead, precise.
No, just one quick thing. Like it's professional sports. Like if you want to compete at the tippy top, yeah, you got to be talented, you got to be tough, all this other stuff, no doubt about it, and you got to be like everybody else on the juice. So it's just stupid to like single anybody out, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what we're getting at here. By the way, the phone lines are open, people. So if you want to call in and give us your take on this whole thing, because I mean I was watching a video here, or rather an article, and it was hold on, I'm gonna put it up here for you guys to see it, because I like to go in the comment sections for this whole thing, because these lightweights, like I keep saying, they're the new generation of fighters that are taking it to the internet and they're jawing directly at each other, and that it seems to rile up the fans a lot. I'm more entertained by what the fans, their reaction, than the actual barking that's going on. So, for example, from this article from Boxing 24, which it says, Devin Haney slams Arum for protecting Teofimo Lopez. If you go to the discussion section, it's rife with just a whole bunch of, like, for example, somebody says, your mouth is bigger than your punch, shut the fuck up, cupcake. So that, like, that's the type of discourse that's going on in there. Somebody says, it's amazing how Arum is playing down a fighter, talking about Haney, that he's scared to death of, and you got fools wanting to buy into it. Arum is afraid. Hold on. Let me put it up on the screen because people aren't seeing it too. Somebody says, Arum is afraid of Haney's intelligence as a boxer, and it dates back to getting the WBC to franchise his boy Loma to duck Haney. So we're back on that old storyline here about Haney being the WBC champ, and so therefore that gives him some form of legitimacy here. So, fellas, what's going on here with this? Like, do you guys like this type of
No. First off, they're idiots because Lomachenko never ducked Devin Haney, right? He never ducked Devin Haney. Devin Haney gave up his ties to Lomachenko when he decided to take on that fight with Abdulayev. Mauricio Suleiman told them if they took that fight, they would have no ties to Lomachenko. So how could he duck you if you never had ties to him? These people are idiots. They don't understand what's going on in the sport. Loma never ducked Devin Haney, ever.
But see, that's the thing, though.
They just want to repeat a lie, bro. That's
what I was going to ask. Do these people like... Go ahead, Precise.
How do you duck Devin Haney to fight Teofimo and lose your title?
Right,
how do you...
It's so stupid, these matters, man. You duck the lesser guy to fight the tougher guy? Get the fuck out of here, man.
Unification is more important than a mandatory. That's how it works.
Yeah, the more they try to convince me about Devin Haney being a champion, the less convinced I am. I mean, it's become desperate from even Eddie Hearn. I mean, when he was talking to Teofimo and his dad, I mean, he was trying to convince everyone that belt meant something. I mean, come on,
right.
I mean, it's a worthless belt. I mean, look, I mean, just talking about Bob Arum. I mean, I hear today that he told Terence Crawford never to call him again. So I don't know what's happening with Bob right now.
Gee, where did you hear
and
that?
Then you duck Devin Haney, right? A guy who was emailed the belt, and you fight a guy who actually won his belt, fighting a guy. Like, this is so stupid, fam. Teofimo won his belt off of Richard Coleman. Devin Haney got him present through the goddamn mail. How are you ducking him, a paper champ? Like, come on, man.
Because they're enthralled with his skills, but they don't look at the fact that I'm telling you, doesn't have the power that all of them say he does. The narrative now is he carried the Cuban kid for 12 rounds instead of stopping him. He could have done it any time, but he was showing his boxing skills.
Well, look, when it comes as it pertains to the Haney situation, I was one of the first people to criticize that Gamboa performance. That being said, I never criticize unless I have a resolution, and I do believe Devin Haney could be a problem for most of the top lightweights. Does he beat him right now? I don't know. He's got to pass a couple of tests before we can determine that. But I do believe that if he makes a couple of changes, he could very well become a problem. But see, that's the thing that a lot of these guys are missing when they talk about, well, he said this, she said that, and this guy was the mandatory, and that guy vacated his blah 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 blah. Let's get down to brass tacks here. Can they compete in the ring with each other? That's the main question. And right now, I do think Devin Haney can compete with these guys, but I don't think he can beat him. He needs to beat somebody to show us. He needs to beat somebody to show us. Like he needs to beat some. Hold on, fellas. He needs to beat somebody. Is what I'm trying to get at. Old school way. Beat somebody that's worth talking about, and then we can talk about now maybe he's being avoided.
He beat Gamboa. Gamboa.
Fuck Gamboa. I got a resolution for Devin Haney. Get your silly ass in there and go get beat up by Lomachenko. That way we don't have to hear your mouth no more. That's the number 2 guy. Forget about your email belt. You're not number 2. Lomachenko's number 2. He's clearly number 2 at 135. So you want to do something, Devin Haney, go get beat up by Lomachenko so you and Bill Haney can disappear into the sunset with your money.
Yeah. I mean, one thing about Haney, I just don't see the confidence that Eddie Hearn's got in him at the moment. I think he'll swerve Lopez and Lomachenko. I mean, you mentioned that name, and the topic's being changed quickly. I mean, what we've seen of Haney lately, he's gone stale. He needs, like BDA said, he needs a big winner, a good name that can, get a bit of confidence back for me. Because right now, it's like when you keep fighting these chumps, you start to get dragged down to that sort of level. And he's still a good fighter, don't get me wrong, but he's not shown me anything to convince me he can beat Lopez or Lomachenko, just nothing.
Going from Shot Gamboa coming off a fucking potentially career-ending injury to someone in the top 2 of the lightweight division, that's just bad matchmaking. And say what you will about Hearn, he's not a bad match. So it's all just talk, promotion, and just a bunch of hype. I think Haney is a good fighter. He's got a lot of future, but when Terence Crawford fought Gamboa, some people were already saying Gamboa was shot and way out of his natural weight.
He was, bro. He was on the decline. He was. I agree with that. And he was on the decline. So was Ndongo when Crawford fought him. Ndongo was
5 years ago
on the decline.
Yeah, that was 5 years.
5 years ago, Gamboa was already irrelevant. Crawford made him irrelevant.
Right.
Well, and by the way, someone can make the argument that Gamboa is like this, really, like he's stronger than most people, I guess, But still, there's no excuse. I mean, I'm trying to find something, but no. I mean, Gamboa was shot 5 years ago when he fought Crawford, so you're right. Yeah. By the way, Devin Haney has 2 mandatories, so they're back-to-back mandatories. One is the winner of Garcia Campbell, and then Javier Fortuna. That fight that got canceled. Oh no, Fortuna was supposed to fight Linares in August, but that fight got canceled because Linares got COVID or some shit. So he has 2 mandatories.
You see.
Yeah.
See, Devin.
Let Gonzalo go. Let Gonzalo go.
Yeah, just real quick. You see, that's the problem, Bucho. These guys that are claiming to be superstars are putting themselves in a position even before they're worth the status that they're claiming, that they're not going to want to fight each other sooner rather than later because they want to fight each other for big money, but they don't have the accolades or the resume or the longer depth in their careers to claim that type of payouts, So they're not fighting each other when they're supposed to because they're valuing more than what they're worth based on their name and their supposedly popularity.
Absolutely. That's their problem. They think they're worth more. I don't know where they get this from. Maybe because they look at their Instagram followers and they go, oh, I got like 100,000 or like 50,000. Maybe they think that earns them like $1 million payday. I don't know. Stu, you were gonna say something?
No, it's just I feel that Devin Haney should be the one that was fighting Luke Campbell, but Ryan Garcia is the one that stepped up. I mean, Haney was ahead of Ryan Garcia at one time, but Ryan Garcia stepped up to the plate while Haney's hovering around fighting tomato cans. Do you know what I mean? That's just where we are right now with Haney. And like I said, I've just not been very impressed with the guy. Yeah, you can tell he's a talent, but there's just nothing special from this kid that I haven't seen come from America hundreds of times before. I see a lot of talent come from America, but some of them are just missing something. He's one of them. Where there's just something missing. I think when you stick him in there with the top guys, I think he's just going to fall a little bit short. But like, he should have been the one fighting Luke Campbell. That's a fight that should have been made, could have been made. Eddie Hearn could have made that fight just like that. They were talking about it, and then sort of like lost steam, and here we are with Ryan Garcia and Campbell. So yeah,
I think Haney needs to have like an in-between fight versus someone like Jason Sosa or Mickey Bay, or hopefully not, but. you know, he needs one of them. He needs one of them fights before they throw him in, and they know this. I think they know. They're just talking about a whole bunch of shit to put his name out there, while at the same time they're gonna build him up properly.
Hey.
Throw him in there at the top right now.
And besides, fuck that. If these motherfuckers out here demanding a 38-year-old GGG do this and a 40-year-old Pacquiao do this, fuck Devin Haney. Get your ass in there. You got a belt. Get your ass in there.
That's the problem.
I'll watch the fight. I don't got a problem with the fight. I'm just saying they're not gonna do it. That's all.
But the problem, he has a belt. That's the whole point. Like now he has mandatory.
He got a belt.
He shouldn't be holding a belt. That's the thing. Now he has no choice but to fight these mandatories and be considered a champion, and then be pushed for a unification fight. Right, because that's what champions do. They have to eventually unify. So
this is what disgusts me about boxing. Right? You know, you've got this made-up fucking belt that's been around about 6 months. I can't. Franchise bullshit. And Eddie Hearn is using this to discredit Teofimo Lopez and say he's not the undisputed champion. But for me, he is. That fucking belt means nothing. But Eddie Hearn is using that. Haney's using that, and it's sort of like a made-up belt from like 6 months ago, and now it's part of the undisputed. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, basically, you can never unify a division, because at the end of the day, you have a WBC franchise when you unify. So there's always going to be some other guy holding the other WBC belt. So it's a never-ending fucking
Of course it is.
cycle, whatever.
What,
So, yeah.
They act
yeah,
like
the
Canelo
IBF,
didn't
what,
win
IBF
the
are going to bring a
WBC
franchise
belt.
champion.
Canelo won the belt. It's not like Canelo didn't win the WBC belt. He won the fucking belt and got elevated. Like, he won the damn belt. People crazy, man.
Yeah, see, I don't like. The thing is, champion should be saying, "I don't want that belt. That belt means nothing." Like I said, it might as well have LGBT written on it. That's about
Hey, pretty soon.
Why
But
not, man? Why not?
That's why Mr. BDA is correct. Fuck the belts, man. Don't follow the belts.
Well,
You're gonna get
listen,
lost
hold on.
and confused.
Buccio, to a certain extent, because Steve Kim does make the point of that, like, there are certain fighters who can benefit from a belt, because, you know, if you hold a fight, let's say, not Philly, but like one of those cities where there's not that much boxing, right? And the guy's a local star, like a Mickey Ward type fighter, where the people in town know who he is and all that. And this guy manages to win a belt, or he fights somebody who has a belt, even if he's just the guy is just a contender, but he has a belt. The casual guys look at that and they look on the marquee, championship boxing. Ooh, so now they can charge a little more and they get more hype out of the event. So Steve Kim is correct in that point, that a belt can benefit certain fighters. But when we're talking about legacy, for a guy who's already established, a guy who can already get millions, whether he's got a belt or whether he's fighting grandma from the corner, like, he doesn't need, at that point, they don't need a belt. And like you said, Buccio, WBC, they got 2 belts. WBA, they got 2 belts. Now we got the WBO, which 15 years ago, nobody was really considering, maybe just the Europeans, but nobody really respected WBO. Now all of a sudden we got the WBO. So we got a whole bunch of, pretty soon it's going to be the IBO. Yeah, the IBO. So I mean, nah. We got to eventually, at some point, we got to put our foot down and say, enough with these gosh darn belts, man. It's disgusting.
But by the way, that's always been my whole point, BDA. Like, the belts ain't the problem. It's the fans giving legitimacy to this. Like, even us talking about this shitty ass belt, we're giving it credibility.
I blame you for that, precise. But by the way, speaking of blaming, we got Recognize the Matrix on the line. Recognize, are you there?
Don't blame me for your problems, all right?
I gotta blame somebody. Listen, the point is, we're talking about Garcia and the lightweights, and you know, the whole belt situation. It's created a mess between those guys. But you know, generally speaking, Recognize, you agree with us, right? If I recall, that most people, top fighters, are probably on something. Like when talking PEDs.
For sure. Well, I just have a problem with people using it to weaponize it. That's the testing, that is.
to weaponize it. Recognize sounds like a Nazi. He wants to weaponize everything. But listen, the point is, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, by the way, fellas, phone lines are open, so you can call in if you want. In regards to this, I'm looking at the pound for pound ratings here. I mean, the lightweight ratings, and I'm thinking, look, we're talking about good fights for Devin Haney. I think a fight that could raise his profile a bit is Jorge Linares, because Linares did sort of redeem himself a little bit by beating up Carlos Morales, who gave Ryan Garcia a very, very tough fight, and Garcia is going to be fighting this Saturday. So, it wouldn't be a bad fight for Devin Haney, because at least we know that Linares, if you hit him correctly or if you hit him enough, his whole fucking face is going to bust up. So what do you fellas think? Jorge Linares, would that give him legitimacy in the eyes?
He'll test Haney technically. That's technically very, very good. Linares, a real
Still very fast
world-class operator. He's a world-class operator. But the thing is with Linares, very well, he's punch resistant. It seems to have gone for me, and he will look good for 10 rounds, get caught with a shot, and that's all she wrote. So I agree with you. I think it's a good learning curve. But for me, if you're gonna, hold a belt, call out fucking Lomachenko and Teofimo and everyone else, and you should be looking to move on from Linares. Linares is an old man now.
He's 34, man. 33, 34.
Yeah, but he's 34. But in boxing wise, he's like 50.
Yeah.
Look at the wars he's been in. I mean, he was fading when he fought Kevin Mitchell all those years ago. I mean, he wasn't at his best then. He was fading then, and then he's been in war after war after war since. Especially he's been in a few in the UK for a fact. I mean, Crowler, he's been in a couple with Crowler, and he's been in some wars. He has. So, and then he got knocked out at 140 by Cano, I think it was. So look, he's on the slide. I mean, what is it proving by beating up Linares? This is a young kid, fresh, top of his game. I mean, he should be looking to
all right, so Stu, I'm putting up the lightweight rankings here from Ring Magazine.
Yeah.
You tell me, man, like which one of these fights whets your appetite for Devin Haney? We got
for Devin Haney.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at him. See, I like the Garcia fight. I like the winner of the Campbell Garcia fight. I do like that. I mean, even Robert Easter. I mean, say we like about Robert Easter, but he's going to bring a certain problems to Haney. It's a test for him.
Easter moved up, Stu. He got 140 now.
Well, I'm just looking at the list that you just given me. I didn't know that, so we'll take him out. So who else is there? There's Linares, who I said I didn't really. Javier Fortuna, that's not a bad fight either. But yeah, I mean, if I was Team Haney, I'd be looking to get the winner of Campbell Garcia. I think that's a perfect fight to tell us where he is.
BDA. I just want to quickly mention, thank Kenshiro for his contribution. He says, you see how fast James Kirkland lost yesterday? He is done. Yeah. I didn't see that. Oh, shit. I didn't even know he was fighting. Chris K, thank you for your contribution. Garcia using PEDs to got down to 135, a la Canelo. Most likely, I agree.
Well, that's the other thing is, look, listen, if these guys are using, then at least they're young, at least it's going to be entertaining to watch young guys who are fresh, and now they're already on PED. So the hand speed is going to be off the charts, the power, the stamina. Why not make it? There was a census. I think I've talked about this before, although I don't have the article here with me, so I can't source it. But I remember hearing that they had done a poll where they asked people like, hey, listen, would you watch the Olympics? Would you be more inclined to watch the Olympics, the Summer Olympics, if you knew the guys were allowed to take whatever they wanted? And people said, yeah. In fact, they wanted people to be juiced up. So they want the best training fights.
Look at it like this, right? You see the wrestling, we talked about the wrestling earlier, WWE. That started to decline when the steroid test came in. When the wrestlers stopped taking it, you just saw the difference in the shape of these guys. They just didn't look the same sort of athletes. I mean, and I think that's sort of helped in the decline of the poor storylines as well. But that really helped in the decline. The athletes, and that's when then they start bringing in smaller guys, and it's just not the same. You like to see these big monsters in the ring, don't you? And that's what made the WWF and WWE big. But I think since the steroid testings come in, I don't think it's helped the WWE, and it's probably hindering boxing because how many fights have we watched where by 7th or 8th round it's just a hug fest where they've just run out of steam and there's no snap on the punches, and when fighters are tired they lose shape, the game plan goes out the window and becomes really horrible to watch at times, scrappy, doesn't it?
Well,
so,
there you have it.
There
you have it.
Show. Yeah.
Stu likes to watch big, tight monsters in the ring. That's what he said. Big, tight, juicy monsters. So, hey, listen, Stu, whatever floats your boat.
You always have to put a homosexual angle onto this, don't you?
I mean, I don't know. You said it, man.
Look, no, I'm just saying. You know, I'm trying to explain that sometimes, like steroids. I know it's not good. When I said it's fighting. I mean, it is cheating in a way. But if you want the best results and the best shows, then you'd have to let them take it for me, because it just shows with the wrestling really dropped. The standards really went a lot lower when they stopped taking the PEDs.
Yeah,
even if a fighter you saw the injuries. A lot of these guys start getting injured a lot more, and that's especially injuries in boxing. I mean, that's half with all these steroids that they use. They could fight through these injuries with steroids, but
hey,
even if a fighter's fresh and is in tip-top shape, you know, I would go to the body and try to wear him down to where, I want to have him hurt and not have him be the best of himself, like by the 8th and so forth. You know, so I want to have to where I am breaking somebody down. I do want to see Linares versus Haney. I think that would be a good fight because Haney is not a big puncher. Now, if Linares' chin is shot, we're gonna see if Haney has enough power to knock out a Linares, who is very quick, by the way. Just the way he knocked out Morales with that right hand, man, he's really quick and accurate. For his old age, he can throw a fast punch. I wonder if it has to do with him training karate over there in Japan, because that strike is down the middle and it's hard. If I just don't see it coming.
That's all wishful thinking. That's not part of the plan. Devin Haney is a WBC champion. He has 2 mandatories, the winner of Garcia Campbell and Javier Fortuna. So all this talk about him maybe getting it.
Fortuna's a good fight too.
Yeah, that's a good fight. But the Linares fight, that ain't happening, and there's no warm-up fights anywhere in between.
Javier Fortuna throws some crazy hooks, man, and he got power.
Yeah, see, the thing with Haney, because he's not really been in there with world-class operators, he could have the same problem Dubois had when he got in there with Joyce, where just got schooled by a seasoned fighter, schooled him with basic stuff. I mean, I'm not saying Haney's as bad as that, but when you're fighting guys that are bringing nothing back to you, you get comfortable, and then when someone starts putting it on you, you fall to pieces. And I got a feeling that's what could happen with Haney, because, like I said, he's never been taking the deep waters. He's never had to dig deep, has he? Really, it's all been a fucking stroll for him. I mean, and that fight on the undercard of Chaos Side Logan Paul, I thought he was terrible.
Or what? This whole thing about Linares, man. Hold on. This thing about Linares, man, is I think Linares. People keep saying, "Well, Linares, he's old." I disagree with you, fellas. I mean, obviously, he's gonna.
No, you don't disagree with me, BDA. We're in agreement there.
Right, but what I'm gonna say is, like, he gets stopped, so people say, "Well, he's getting old." But if you look at it, he always, in the Cano fight, he got caught early. It's not like he looks slow, or he still looks, against Morales, he still looked as fast. Well, not as fast as ever. I shouldn't exaggerate.
Haney can punch. A great fight.
Exactly. So if they get into a boxing match, Linares is shown to be more versatile with his punches, and he's a bigger puncher at lightweight. So
yeah, but it's a pointless fight for me, though. It's just a pointless fight for him. It's not going to prove it. He's not going to really get much credit for it, because, like I said, look, if he'd fought Linares 5 years ago, then yeah, come on, man.
But Garcia was going to fight Linares, though.
I get what you're saying, but look, it's talking about learning. Oh, yeah, he needs a learning fight, but the guy's got a fucking belt, man. There's no learning fights when.
Yeah, but he didn't earn the belt. He didn't earn the belt. Come on, man. We're going to go back to
that. He should have took it then. He should have took it then. Sometimes, if you don't earn something, don't fucking take it if you're not going to defend it against. Because there's a lot of guys out there that have earned their right to fight these title shots, and you've got someone that hasn't earned it. That's ducking and dodging. Get out of here, man. If you're not ready to take on the challenges, give the fucking belt up. That's my.
And don't hold that paper belt and then try to shame Teofimo. Like the guy who's done it all. If you're gonna hold that paper belt and then try to shame this guy, you and your daddy running around talking about he ducking you, then step up and prove. Ain't nobody gonna baby you. You saying you the best at 135? Step it up and prove it then. That dude don't need to get in the ring with nobody but one of those two freaking mandatories, whether it be Javier Fortuna or the winner between Luke Campbell and Ryan, or go get beat up by Lomachenko. That's the only three fights I want to see him in.
Yeah, Haney reminds me a bit like Lucien Boutte. You know when the Super 6 tournament was made, when he dodged it and he let everyone beat each other up and then tried to clean up and still got battered by Frotch. It reminds me like that, where he's letting everyone fight each other, he's staying out the way, hoping that he can pick up the crumbs. That's what I see. And,
what I'm saying is, if he's gonna fight Linares, what the fuck was that? What I'm saying is, if he wants to, like, if we want to determine how he handles a guy with quick hands or whatever, Linares would be the perfect fight because Linares can be vulnerable. But if he's got those fights, if he insists on holding onto his belt and going to those channels of, well, this guy's the mandatory and that guy, then he's got the Garcia Campbell winner lined up, or Fortuna. So there you go. He's already got two options lined up.
Look at that punch, BDA, that Linares landed against Carlos Morales, man. It came out of nowhere, man. Fast as hell, down the middle. Now,
and
Carlos
in the short
Morales,
distance.
he fought Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia's fast as fuck. He couldn't land that on Morales. I'm not pulling no triangle theory, but I'm saying that one punch, although he's slower, he'll put it out of nowhere, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
bro,
isn't that
bro,
kind of problem, though? Gonzalez, isn't that kind of problem? I think Linares would be head, shoulders above anybody he's fought up to this point, but it's just he brings too much of a risk for not enough name recognition and payoff.
I get
you know
that.
what I'm saying? Because his reputation, like Stu was saying, whether I still think he's some of the prettiest combinations, kid's just a talented boxer, but because of his name's got that slag kind of hanging on it, I don't think it would be generating enough what they would want. It's too much risk for not enough money. You know what I mean? We'll bring the money there.
Why don't?
But I like it.
Why don't Bob Arum? I mean, well, not Bob Arum. Tell him. Why don't Lomachenko sue Devin Haney and go beat him up, man? Then he'll have that damn WBC belt. That's a great rematch. Like that'll be the rematch for all the marbles again. And then he gets Devin. It's like it's a win-win for all of us. He just beat the shit out of Devin Haney, so him and Bill Haney can shut the hell up. And then we get the rematch. Lomachenko. Still female before he moves on for all the marbles again. Beautiful.
It would be fun to watch Lomachenko.
I don't think that Devin Haney can beat Lomachenko, fam. I don't. He has nothing to offer Lomachenko to deter him. He can't punch his way out of a wet paper bag. How you gonna stop Lomachenko from coming in there? I think he would be fun.
It would be fun for Lomachenko to finally shut up some of the stuff that's coming out of the Haney camp. But then again, on the other hand, like if Haney is wasting his time fighting Linares, then I think Lomachenko would be wasting his time fighting Haney, because I think Lomachenko is above those type of names. But it's true. I mean, look, listen, at this point, guys have to fight each other, man. If, like, you know, because you guys make that great point. If Haney has the belt and he wants to hang on to it and he wants to act as if he's deserving of a fight between these top three guys, then fucking do it. I don't think he's gonna do it. I'm with Precise on this one. Yeah.
That's exactly what I know Keen Mitch in the chat's crying about it. He's crying about us having a pop at Haney, but you got to connect the dots here. This guy accepted the belt. What he's like, what do you want him to do? Say no to the belt? No, I don't. Accept the belt. Gladly accept it. But then when the challenges come your way, you know, don't try and fucking hide behind it. That's my point. I mean, if you're gonna don't try and say you're not good at or you're not experienced enough to be in there with these guys, you're claiming belts. That's where we are. I mean, that's all it is.
He can't have it both ways.
If Haney said, look, I don't want to take this belt because I'm still learning on the job, and I want to have a few more fights before I'm ready for that level. No one would have batted an eyelid. Everyone said fair play, he's being honest. You can't knock a kid for being honest, but he took the belt. He's on Twitter telling us every day that he's the best guy in the division.
Yeah.
He can beat Loma. He can beat Lomez. He's going to bust up Tank one of these days. Come on, man.
You got a lot of great fighters at 35. You got that Fortuna kid, Nakatani, Isaac El Pitbull Cruz. You got a lot of good fighters. That division is becoming really stacked. Like the
that's a good fight. I forgot about Nakatani. That's a real good fight for Haney right now.
Yeah, Nakatomi Plaza, man. Tall, he can jab, he's tough. The thing is, right now with the lightweight division, again, there's the tendency for certain boxing fans certain factions to be very negative and very nihilistic and this fight is the dodging this guy, blah blah blah. But let's look at the facts. Just this year, despite the whole pandemic and all the obstacles, we had Lomachenko Lopez happen. Now we've got at the beginning of the year, we've got Ryan Garcia stepping up to fight Luke Campbell. So we've got lightweights that are stepping up to the division. Tank Davis might be returning to the lightweight too at some point. I'm pretty sure Devin Haney at some point is going to step up. So when people, that's why I brought up this subject, because people love to talk about the drama and this guy's avoiding that guy, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, they end up fighting most of the time. 95% of the time, the fights that we want end up happening. So all this talk about ducking and dodging, I think it's just to entertain ourselves for the most part. That's why I try to avoid all that, because I'm more interested in what happens in the ring. And the question was, at the beginning of the show, does Devin Haney have the wherewithal right now to beat some of the top lightweights, or if down the line, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. But that's something that you're not going to hear from the people that keep talking about Devin Haney is being docked by this guy and by that guy. They never really talk about, well, how's he going to beat them? And then they go, well, no, he's just going to, Bob Arum said this, Bob Arum said that, because they can't break it down. They can't tell you how the fight could potentially go down. And I think that's a limitation. That's why they love to talk about who's docking who. But at the end of the day, like I said, I think they're going to end up fighting, most of these guys. So
at the right time, though, because you said the fights happen. That's maybe true. Most fights maybe happen, but a lot of them happen at the wrong time. Once
exactly. These guys keep going way past it.
It would benefit him to do some strengthening and conditioning and work on doing some kettlebells to strengthen his forearms so he can punch through the target, because I think Precise said one time that he's going limp at the wrist when he punches. Now, I do believe he got snap on his punches, BDA. I think you mentioned that one time. He can punch hard. He just needs to get a little stronger around the forearms.
Absolutely.
What I hope is that they don't marinate, they don't continue this dumb marinating shit, because look, I mean, we're at the point when it comes to let's say Crawford and Spence, where these guys are old, and what real legacy do they really have, right? If you look, Spence has fought good competition at welterweight. You can argue that really Crawford really hasn't fought anybody of significant with a big name. Let's take Mayweather and Pacquiao. They just over marinated that fight, right? In 2010, go look at if that fight would have happened in 2010, go look at Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather's resume at that time, if that fight would have happened. And you would say, damn, they got some good names on that list. Where these guys are marinating fights and not creating no legacy. It's just like a cash out, basically. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I just hope that they stop this shit.
You know what my thing is with that, though, recognize, and I feel you too. I'm with that. But with Maypac and, with these other fights, both of the guys are good. We only know that one guy is good in this situation. It may be nothing to marinate, because what the fuck do we know about Haney? At least we knew Floyd was good, Pac was good. We knew that these other guys was good. What the fuck do we know about Haney? We only know about one guy in this situation.
There's potential, but it hasn't been proven. But that's it. And there's
they're in no position to be like that, to say that. They're barely starting their careers, man. That's what I was saying in the beginning.
That's what I mean.
That's what I wanted to.
History we've had.
Go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
The time in boxing history where we regularly have prospect champions, bad fucking new.
Well, you're cutting off, Jimmy. Jimmy, you're cutting off, man.
Sorry.
Did you change your? I think you changed your headphones, because when you came in here, you were sounding louder. I just want to say, Butcher, you said about the fighters, they're gonna marinate the fight. They're in their, like Gonzalo said, they're in their 20s. If they fuck this up,
I didn't say they will marinate.
No. But I'm saying if they fuck this up, then it will be one of the most royal fuck ups, because you have to be a fucking. I hate to use the word, but you gotta be fucking have Down syndrome to over marinate this fight, because these guys are in their 20s. Everybody wants to see them. They're hyping their own fight up on social media. So, man, let me tell you something. If one of these guys screws up and ends up losing some tomato can or whatever, and the fights don't happen, then.
It's about money, right? So you're Bob Arum, you have Teofimo Lopez. At some point, you might be like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna have Teofimo move up in weight, and make some money over there. Why? Maybe the Devin Haney fight for them, it's not really that important of an option.
Mm-hmm. You know
Well,
what I
for
mean?
Devin Haney also is too dangerous because look, I do believe Haney does have a lot of talent, but I think he's still a little green and where I'm not saying Teofimo's not green, but he's a little bit more polished. Where he looks like if you put them in there right now, he has ways to figure out to win that fight against Devin Haney, where Devin Haney doesn't have the experience to to pull it out if that fight becomes really tough. So this is what I mean. Look, I understand making your fighter a better fighter. Don't over marinate because what you said. You risk the chance that somebody takes them out, or they keep fixing fights for you. And what I mean by that is just putting you up against guys that you can beat, or fucking with them some type of way. And then by the time you get into the ring with a real one, you can't figure it out. You can't beat these guys.
Exactly.
Devin Haney is the new Tank Davis. Tank Davis 2021 is Devin Haney. And when he turned 26, he's just going to be just like Tank. Couple of worthless titles and ain't fought nobody at 26 years old. That's the path he's taking right now. Tank Davis path.
See, I take a different look on this, like marinating shit. Look, if Devin Haney gets in the ring against somebody and that somebody beats him, then my attention is on that somebody. Forget Devin Haney. That's the next person. So this is just competition. This is just boxing. What I see a lot with this so-called marinating is I see a whole bunch of fanboying. Oh, this guy's popular, so we got to get this fight going because he's popular, because he's good for boxing. The way I see it is prove it in the ring. And if somebody from fucking the ghettos of Barranquilla comes out and beats him, I don't give a shit if he's got 2 or 5 fans. That's the guy that needs to be fighting at the top. But I think people are focusing too much on Instagram and popularity and all this other bullshit, and that gets in the way of the best fight.
And that's what true competition, precise.
Exactly.
That's what true competition is about. It's about, okay, you don't know me today, but I go in there with a popular guy and I fuck his ass up. Now you know who I am. And that's how true, but we know that's not happening anymore. We know that it's kind of like...
Look at the Japanese fighter. Recognized.
We know that once in a while...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, because I was going to say real quick, we know that once in a while, the Ruiz happens, right? Ruiz comes in there. Ruiz was a cherry pick. That's all he was, right? He was just a cherry pick, and it just blew up in his face. That's all. And they had to run it back, and this time, he got himself together and won. That's all it is. But we know that a lot of this... Look, Ruiz was paid, was well compensated for that guy who's like really a nobody in terms of popularity to a guy that won. But if boxing was truly about competition, we would have praised this guy, and he probably could have done, a lot better. But anyway, my point is, my point is that if it's about real competition, the chips fall where they may. That's not what boxing is about today.
That's the point.
Look at the Japanese fighter.
No, you're right, Gonzalo. But let me go back to this classic example that everybody complains about, which is Juanma versus Gamboa. But Juanma was a hype job, and we found that out when both of them fought Motagua. Motagua almost got Juanma out of there, and fucking Gamboa treated Motagua like it was nothing, like he was a complete bum. So for me, if Juanma and Gamboa got in the ring together, that would have been a flop because Gamboa would have schooled him, knocked him out, beat him up, and would have been a shit fight. Like Gamboa fanboys would have liked it. Juanma fanboys would have gone home crying. I would have been saying, fuck all that. Stalito should have been in there. Not Juanma, Stalito, Gamboa. But it just so happens that Gamboa was on another level to all of these guys. It didn't matter who got in the ring with him. It was going to be the same result for those 2-3 years that he was in his very, very prime. So the way I look at it is, we got much better fights when it came to Juanma and Salido, when those two guys duked it out. And when we got Salido versus Gamboa, that was the number 1 versus the number 2 guy, period. That fight was the best versus the best. We just didn't know it at the time because everybody was focusing on, Puerto Rican Phenom and Cuban Phenom. That's the fight to make. No, fuck that. Like recognize the saying, let the chips fall where they may. And that's the only way you're going to get the best versus the best, because we're like pushing Haney into all these fights while at the same time saying that he ain't shit. Well, then let's put him in there with Linares. If Linares beats him, then Linares versus Teofimo is the fight to make. You know what I mean? The best versus the best.
That's right.
Nakatani had that close fight against Teofimo Lopez, he came right back and fought Felix Verdejo in a really good fight where it was going, where, you know, Verdejo was winning, but he brought it back and he took this guy out. Now, the Japanese fighter, do you think he's not popular back in his home country at this stage in his career? He brought it back. He did well. Now he's probably many times more popular.
That's right, Gonzalo. That's a great point, man. That's a great point. Let the chips where they
right? The kid will beat.
Hold on. Jimmy, let me just go real quick to the phone lines because we got people waiting. I want to get back to the subject real quick, but let's go to the phone lines first. Let's go to 682. And by the way, hit the thumbs up button, fellas. All right, 682. You're on the line. 682. What's on your mind?
What's going on?
How you doing, man? What's on your mind?
Shit, nothing, man. It's Big Snack Pack calling out of Funkytown, Fort Worth, man. I just want to say salute to the mighty LDBC. You know what I'm saying? Salute to 7-8, Black Fight Fan, Junior the Truth, and everybody, you know what I'm saying? And a salute to the panel, man. I love y'all boxing talk.
Thank you, man. What's on your mind? Oh, he dropped out. Oh, don't tell me he just called in to say that. just give a shout out to all his LDBC homies.
LDBC.
Oh, man.
All right, hold on a second.
They don't want to debate. They don't want to debate.
You know what? I'll give him credit, man.
That was cool.
He saluted us too. So
that's right.
Yeah, he said like the show.
I wanted to have a conversation. That's
fellas.
Point,
if you like calling to have a conversation, don't just call in to give a shout out to like Big Mac from the West Side and like Tukey from
bro. Y'all
gotta say the shout out to Queens.
I gotta give that caller some respect, fam. Because he LDBC and he came up and saluted
Ravenswood Projects.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the phone lines. Like what I'm saying is we're not. Yeah, what I'm saying is we're not a DJ radio station here where we give shout outs to people. Like we actually wanna talk to people. Anyway, we got more phone calls, so let's go to 719. You're in the air. 719. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like why is it always Top Rank involved? Why is it always Top Rank involved when some big fights ain't happening? But once it's not PBC involved in the same situation, y'all don't keep the same energy. Like,
well, Brotherhood, let me ask you, man. Brotherhood, what's the big fight that's not, please don't tell me you're calling Haney versus Teofimo Lopez a big fight.
Okay, no, look at this. Look at it this way. When Wilder versus Joshua was supposed to happen, y'all said, y'all like to say that Wilder was ducking for whatever reasons y'all can come up with. Now you see a guy like Haney in the same position as Wilder, literally. He literally got the WBC belt, and Teofimo Lopez got every other belt like Joshua did. Haney got the WBC like Wilder did. And he's pursuing that fight. He's going hard for that fight. He obviously wants to.
He's not.
Now, for some reason, like y'all want to throw people in front of him. Just like Eddie Hearn did when he threw Dillian White in front of Wilder instead of just giving him Joshua. You know what I'm saying? It's like the energy never the same.
Right. Bringing up a fight Wilder never fought.
Yeah. Let me get this. Brotherhood. Bullshit. It ain't the same energy because it ain't the same.
I really don't want to hear from
you.
Come on, man.
Brotherhood, let him finish.
Brotherhood, come on. You can't.
Brotherhood, let him finish.
Cut you off, man. Chill out for a second. Let me get this off.
All right.
Whatever, man. It's not the same situation because regardless of what anybody said about Wilder, I've defended on this. He's fought somebody. That motherfucker defended the title. He was in a total different thing. Devin Haney ain't done a goddamn thing. He's an email champ. So with Wilder, he at least had some type of validity. Devin Haney don't have shit, man. Nothing. It's not the same situation at all.
Was your narrative that? Before you go there, was your narrative? Did you really think Wilder was pursuing that fight?
Who, me? I think again. Their narrative and the way they felt about Wilder is different than the way I felt about Wilder. So I'm just telling you, it ain't the same with Devin Haney.
They say Wilder was ducking. They say Wilder was ducking. Devin Haney obviously is not doing that. So
who's they?
Situation.
Who's they?
The masses. That's the popular opinion. That's when I'm. I mean,
No. That's
Wilder was
a
ducking. Yeah, but Wilder was ducking, wasn't he? He got offered the 8 million to fight Dillian White and turned it down. So he's ducking, and then he went and got 2 million to fight. I can't remember who it was.
Now
Probably
the difference
Ortiz
is
or
Devin
something.
Haney isn't.
Come on, man.
Now,
We don't speak for they.
What do you
We
mean
speak
Devin
for
Haney's not
we.
ducking? I mean, I'm not saying
What
he's ducking,
offers-
but he's not looking to fight anyone either. He's quite happy to
Listen.
hold that manufactured belt and call out people from the safety
Twitter champ.
of his couch when he's on Twitter. Come on.
Have there been any offers? Have there been any offers?
When Wilder was looking to fight other people besides AJ, that was a problem. Y'all said he was ducking AJ.
Butcher
now,
brought
instead
up
of Devin Haney looking to fight other people. Let me finish. Now, instead of Devin Haney looking to fight other people than Teofimo Lopez, y'all want him to fight other people instead of what's the fucking? It don't make no fucking sense.
All right, we got you. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, hold on. Okay, we got you. We got you. Now we got you. We got the point. Now let somebody. Bucho wanted to refute. Go ahead, Bucho. One at a time.
No, I just want to ask you: have there been any offers from Devin Haney to Lomachenko, from Lomachenko to Devin Haney?
I think you're talking about
Teofimo. Somebody.
Oh, Teofimo. Any offers? Yeah.
Lopez out of his own mouth.
Hold on, one at a time. One at a time.
This fight ain't gonna happen for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, he did. Let me clear that up for you. Let me clear it up for you, brotherhood. Let me do that for you. First and foremost, when I was talking to Bill Haney and Lopez Sr. on fucking live, Bill Haney and Devin Haney doesn't have enough money to offer them what he can make from George Kambosos Jr. That's number one. What we want Devin Haney to do is instead of cry for only Teofimo, do something with himself. And I don't know why that's such a bad request when he's a champion. What is it that you guys want your champion to do? Fight nobody and cry for one guy? Is that what y'all want?
And he looks talented enough to beat these guys
so
too.
It's okay
while he's
when a champion
building the fight.
decides to duck a unification fight if they're making more money for the fight that's not a unification. That's what you.
It was okay. It was okay. Well, it was okay for Devin Haney to give up his rights to Lomachenko. I'm answering the question. Hold on. I'm answering the question. So you got to be. Did you just answer mine? Because I asked you a question. Why do you want your champion Devin Haney?
Answers questions.
Yeah.
See, you know what the problem is here? You know what the problem is? That Brotherhood. You always come in and you ask a question. Well, you said this then, and now you're saying this. So let's get down to brass tacks because nobody's answering. You're not going to answer anybody's question here. I'm interested in your opinion. What happens in the ring? Do you think Devin Haney right now can beat Teofimo Lopez?
Of course he does.
Bro, it don't matter who thinks.
There you go. Well, there you go.
But what chance do you give him?
Answer the fucking
if you're
question,
asking him to do a
Brotherhood,
specific
what
thing,
chances do you
which
give him?
is step up in competition, then
break down the fight.
Brotherhood's been reading some Nietzsche or
You
something.
know,
What's the meaning of life?
he thought.
Could you please break down the
Why are
fight?
you mad at him?
Brotherhood, I think you've just blown any chance of winning Call of the Year.
No, right, hold on. But you know what? If you ask Brotherhood, hey Brotherhood, what's the meaning of life? It don't matter. Like, all right, that doesn't matter then. Come on, man.
I
just don't give a fuck.
I have no idea what point Brotherhood is trying to make. I'm lost.
Anyway, listen.
Something about Devin Haney real quick.
I'm saying, y'all,
Hold on.
want him to step up.
Precise, go ahead, man.
See, this is the thing that nobody mentions about Devin Haney. Everyone's acting like he's ready to fight everybody. He should fight it, whether you pro or against, and I'm neither. People are just pushing him into all these fights. Let me remind everybody that Devin Haney, the reason why he was stripped of his belt is because he refused to fight Javier Fortuna a year and a half or whatever ago. So you tell me what that says about his willingness to fight everybody.
Look, actually, hold on. He was stripped of his belt because he was turned into a champion. He was put as champion in recess.
But he never wanted to fight Fortuna. Like he always showed no interest.
Hold on. That's part of that's not true too. Because Devin Haney.
So then fight him now.
Okay, hold on. Recognize. I'm just saying. Well, from what I know. Okay, I'm just trying to break down what I know.
The reason why
one second, right quick, precise. Let me finish this, if you don't mind, sir. Devin Haney and Bill Haney offered Javier Fortuna a fight. The problem is they offered him a fight when he was already locked up in that situation where he could have took fucking Campbell to get the rights to Lomachenko. But Devin Haney injured his shoulder, and they stripped him of the belt because of the injury, but they put him as champion in recess. But he did not Fortuna or no shit like that. He was
Look, I didn't
injury.
Convenient.
say he ducked.
Convenient injuries.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I didn't say he ducked anybody. All I'm saying is that he had right. All I'm saying is that Devin Haney had a mandatory, and it was
okay. Well, sure, Loma did.
When you have a mandatory, you have something like 12 months to fulfill that obligation, and instead of doing that, he was fighting bums. So that, and then conveniently, he had the whole. I know about the shoulder thing, but like he had 12 months to defend against that mandatory, and he never did that. So
listen,
if people aren't willing to fight Devin Haney, it's not like Devin Haney's willing to fight everybody either. Let's just keep.
I ain't doing shit.
Fortuna was on. Fortuna was on.
Brotherhood, we gotta move on. Brotherhood, we gotta move on. So thank you for your comment, and we'll catch you on the next one. Right. Go ahead, Recognize.
I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
No. Well, I told him it's the end of the call because we're just going around in circles. But anyway, thank you, Brotherhood, for your call. Go ahead, Recognize.
No, listen. Fortuna was on. Listen, I sometimes I like to listen to the Spanish news, right? Fortuna was on there talking. I mean, listen. I grew up listening to that shit. So it is what it is.
Yeah, the kids got some big tits. I recognize they're fighting.
Yeah, the girls are good looking there too. Exactly, the girls are good looking. So they have a sports segment, and the news that I was listening to was out of the Dominican Republic. They were talking to Fortuna, and Fortuna was talking about his future plans and stuff like that. All of this is in Spanish. I know Spanish very well. Okay, I grew up speaking Spanish, and he said that when they asked him about Devin Haney, he said the guy had no interest in fighting me. They view me as a risk, and so I have to move on from there. He said it clearly, and they asked him, "How do you know that he didn't want to fight you?" Oh, he's coming up with all type of excuses. Now he said something to the effect of, "Now he's injured," and that's what I remember. I'm sorry to say, but that's exactly what I remember. Now, that's not to say that Devin Haney doesn't have talent, he's a fraud or this or that. It's just that they view this fight as too tough. Like, maybe I have to win. Maybe I win the fight, but it's just too tough. And maybe there's things about me that I don't want other fighters to know about.
Right.
But the truth is, he didn't want to fight for
era of the fighters, mate. We're in an era now where fighters are going to get protected as long as they can until they're forced into a corner. And Eddie Hearn, I mean, I know Eddie Hearn does good things for boxing, and he talks well, and he fools a lot of people when he talks.
He's full of shit. Eddie Hearn is full of shit.
Yeah, of course, that's my point. But the thing is, this guy, I mean, he's got all this talent, yet he's not looking to move him on quickly. Is it even Golovkin? Since he's signed Golovkin, I mean, Golovkin's, he's not really done that much with him either. I mean, Haney. How long's he had Haney now? And nothing's happening with Haney. It's like he's just holding on, trying to get as much money out as he can out of these guys, and then sort of like feed them to the wolves. I just don't think he is overconfident with Haney, just like I don't think he's overconfident with Joshua winning the Fury fight. I see in Hearn a lot of doubts in a lot of his fighters. Trust me.
And I don't think he has the same power over those guys, like the relationship Tom Loeffler had with, say, GGG. It's like where he signed to Zone, and Eddie's kind of the figurehead, and the go-between. It's like, how much power does he actually have over these guys?
Zero.
You know what I mean?
Zero, because they're not signed to him. It's a partnership. It's not like what these other guys have. So he doesn't have fucking power.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. So when you're
but he's the one that
power over power. I'm just saying, but I agree. I think he does sell. He does a lot of lip service. It's kind of let me down because I was high on Hearn when he first.
Yeah, me too, bro.
I was really high because he did. He was talking like he wanted to make the best, and I just keep waiting for it to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just hasn't developed. And
but I agree with you too, Phil. I just want you to know that about Javier Fortuna. Like, we iron out that, because when I caught Bill Haney ass out on Ring IQ, I drilled the fuck out of him about Javier Fortuna, Linares, and Nakatani. I'm like, bro, you really want to fight? Why don't you get in there and fight Javier Fortuna?
That's a good fight, D.
So yeah, so
Nakatani versus
I'm with you.
Nakatani versus Bill. I was about to say Bill. Devin Haney. That's a good
Right.
fight, bro. Look what happened
That
with
was.
Look what happened with this kid, Verdejo. Verdejo was giving him a nice boxing fight, was actually winning, and then got knocked the fuck out. Like that guy's dangerous. That's a good fight to have.
Hey fellas, let's go to the phone.
He beat Lozada.
Guys.
He beat
Go ahead,
El-
Mr. BDA.
But hold on, let Gonzalo finish, and then I gotta go take a phone call. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he beat that one guy, Cañitas Lozada, the guy that was able to beat Verdejo. So he's a good fighter, man. Fucking Fortuna. He throws a lot of like really good hooks with both hands. That's all I just wanted.
I'm gonna get into
Yeah, he
him
beat
one
the
of
hell
these
out of
days
his
because
dog.
I got a film study coming up on him just to show people that he's quick and all that, but he's also pretty fucking sloppy when he's coming forward. Let's go to the phone lines real quick, man. 214, you're on the air. 214, what's on your mind?
What's up? What's up, BDA?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I think the LDBC. I don't know, man. Those guys are just weird. Don't worry. I don't worry about those guys anymore. I just think that Ryan's just roaring into his into his body. He was skinny. I think like since he's been like a prospect, but you can really gain muscle if you eat right.
Yeah, he also came out and said, I think he claims that he only eats something like 2,000 or 3,000 calories a day or something. I forgot the amount, what exactly it was, but it was very low for a boxer. And,
well, if BDA of 3,000 clean calories, that's actually surprised how much food that is. That's a lot of food.
Yeah, but I forget. I don't know if it was 3,000 though. I don't know,
okay.
but I don't know.
Even
Like
2,000,
it seems
if it's clean, that's actually that's probably half a dozen eggs and 2 pounds of chicken and rice, and that's if you're eating clean, 2,000 calories. About you should be. There's an actual formula. Depends on what you're trying to do. But if I was training that kid for boxing, I'd have him 2,500 clean calories a day for his size.
Yeah, I remember people were bringing up that. Remember what was the name of that swimmer there that won a whole bunch of medals in 2008? Phelps, Michael
I know
Phelps.
from Michael Phillips.
Phelps, something, yeah. And he claimed he was eating chocolate pancakes every day. Which I know swimmers, it does take a lot of energy.
He said he consumes 6,000 calories a day.
6,000.
That's not surprising for the amount of yes, because like you just said, BDA swimming burns more calories than any exercise you can do because it involves
you actually use swimming. You use more muscles than any other sport.
Exactly, and I wouldn't doubt if he was eating chocolate pancakes. You want a carbo load before especially if he's doing long distance swimming. That'd be
I'm gonna say one thing about that.
It's quite tiring swimming. Even when I have a little swim, sometimes I get fucking halfway across the pool. I start to panic for it. I don't know if I've got enough left to make it.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you
about
more
Devin hungry than you are after done swimming.
Hold on, fellas. One
thing I noticed about Devin Haney.
Oh, sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you guys. I apologize. I'm talking.
That's fine.
Look, if this is worth anything, the eye test with Devin Haney, the guy's built like a boxer. He's a boxer. Like the dude got that built that looks like he's built to last. I just think he needs to pick up the competition. That's all. Pick up that competition. Everything about him. When I look at that kid, I say that's a boxer. He's got a face to take punishment. He's got the build. Yeah, of course, man. Listen, it's just scientifically proven. Like guys with flat noses, they're built to take. They're just built to take punches better.
It's already flat. You can't really flatten it anymore.
Right. You can't flatten it. You can't flatten something that's not there to be flattened. Exactly.
He's got a pancake face.
Yeah. So no, and also the way the guy's built. And from the eye test, like he throws good combinations. The kid is good. He just needs to fight better competition. That's what I want to say to Brotherhood before he hung up.
Well, he hung up because of you, though. We had to hang up because of you. You pushed him out of here. But
yeah, sorry about that, Brotherhood.
That's okay, man.
He needs to throw more combinations too. I believe he's throwing single punches at a time, and I think boxing is getting away from that. It's revolving. It's not evolving. Mayweather brought that style. But nobody want to see that, man. People want to see
Mayweather brought that style because he was getting old. That's what happened. He brought that style and he's getting old.
Can I address something real quick? Because I think I'm being misinterpreted. Look, I don't believe I used the word duck when it came to Haney and Fortuna. All I said is the reason why he got stripped is because he didn't fight his mandatory. Now, I know about the injury. right? I believe the shit was legit. But what I'm saying is, if Devin Haney was willing and able and had this fire and desire to fight the best, instead of fighting some of these bums, he would have gotten ready for Fortuna and defended his belt against them. So all I'm saying is I just don't see. I know they're talking a whole bunch, but I just don't see the desire to step in there with the best, not just yet. And you could say what you will about that. I'm just making an observation. That's all.
Yeah, man. I
but
mean,
you know what?
real quick. Hold on,
Guys,
fellas.
so
Let me
fast.
just get real quick back to the caller, because that's what we're trying to get at here. That there's too much talk of he's ducking this guy and this guy's ducking that guy. Like fundamentally, do you think Devin Haney has the goods to beat some of these guys down the line? Caller 214.
I think he can beat some of these guys now, but I don't know. I think he can beat Fortuna. I think he can beat Fortuna. Linares is going to be tougher because Linares got more experience. Yeah, but, you know, the only real problem I have with Linares is his skin. He get getting cut up too much.
Yeah.
Still a good fight, though,
know.
because Linares... Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know if we got to worry about the pillow fist.
Hold on. The caller. Go ahead, caller.
All I need to see is Devin Haney in one good fight. I don't think he should try to, do what Ryan and Gervonta doing. You know, when Ryan decided to fight one of Gervonta's old guys, and he put online, "You guys ever see me get hit like that?" And I thought that was trash because this guy hasn't done anything since then. You know, I just think Ryan's just immature. Period. I was just disappointed when Devin Haney did the same thing. He literally did the same thing. He said, "Did you guys see me get hit by what's his name, Gamboa like that? Like Tank got hit." I'm like, that's kind of lame. That's lame. Why don't you fight someone better? You know, don't do the. If someone does something lame, don't do what they do.
Right.
Fighting chumps. Don't follow. You know, I just thought that was stupid.
D, you were gonna say something?
I think it's just that. Yeah, you can go talk.
No, go ahead, Callum. Go ahead, Callum.
All I think is that he just needs one good fight, just one good fight, to see where he really is. And then from there, I think he should be able to fight. If he really does good, then go ahead and put him in there with TSU.
Yeah, I think recognizing somebody was gonna say something before me.
Hey, D, a fighter with no concussive power, if you don't hit that hard but still got snapped, can cut you just as easy.
He hits
if you don't got
sharp,
heavy hands.
Gonzalo.
Yeah,
He's a sharp puncher. Sharp punching can accumulate. Doing it. Yeah, look, he did what I said.
Catch you bone on bone. He can cut you real easy if you got that paper skin. You don't have to have concussive power to cut somebody. Just get some whip behind your jab, hit it on the top of the eyebrow.
But to the caller's point, and I'm going to agree with him here, for different reasons. But he's right. All he needs is one big fight.
Yeah.
One big fight, and if he gets that one big fight and he looks impressive, then we can do an assessment. Let's say he goes in there with Fortuna, and Fortuna's in there. He's healthy. He's ready for this fight, and he just like whitewashes him. Maybe even stops him late, But it's like a clear whitewash. Well, why wouldn't I translate that to he could give Lopez and Lomachenko a good fight. Like he has a chance to win.
Hell no. If he did what you said,
Fortuna is okay. Who's washing Fortuna? Like who's washing him up at 135? Name me the names, D.
Oh no,
who's
no.
washing him up?
Recognizing you. I thought you said Linares first. Fortuna or not?
No. I meant. I'm sorry. I meant Fortuna or Linares. Like let's just say that Devin Haney goes in there. I'm agreeing with the caller for different reasons, right? He said that he just needs one fight and then he's ready. He's ready for the big dogs, right? Lomachenko or Lopez. Now, What I'm saying is that I do agree. Because if he goes in there, let's say if he beat a guy like Fortuna or Linares, let's just put Linares in there. He's beating those second-tier guys, and and obviously if there's no competition for him, that means that he's at that elite level. He's at the next level. Whether he loses to Lopez, it's not the point. That means he's ready for those guys.
Yeah, I agree. Fair point.
All right, caller. Anything else on your mind?
All right. No, I'm gonna save the rest of my prediction for when y'all have the live stream.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Yeah. By the way, are you looking forward to that fight, or do you think it's like just give us a little preview of your without revealing your prediction, like a little preview? Do you think it's going to be a good fight? Do you think it's going to be one-sided?
I think it's going to be a good fight for the beginning to mid rounds, and then things are going to change drastically in the late rounds.
Oh, all right, fantastic. Giving us a little suspense there. All right, caller, thank you for your call, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, man.
He's going with Campbell.
All right, bye.
Take it easy, man. Yeah, by the way, I was watching Ryan Garcia. There was an interview from a while back where he was calling Luke Campbell a can of soup, Campbell's soup. And I was like, I was cringing a little bit. Because even Luke Campbell called him out on
funny, how original.
Yeah, even Luke Campbell... Even Luke Campbell called him out on it. Said, "Man, you just keep your trap shut until we fight, man." But speaking, okay, it's that time of the year, fellas. I don't really like to do it, but listen, it is what it is right now. Pound for pound. ESPN recently rehauled their pound for pound list. What with Canelo beating Callum Smith and all that, ESPN still has Terence Crawford number 1. Above Canelo Alvarez.
I'm not surprised.
Now, you know me. I like Crawford. I'm one of the few guys, even though I do think he's regressed a little bit at welterweight and some of the mistakes he's made before, he can't afford to make him here. I still think he's pretty skilled, but I don't know, fellas. I mean, beating up, what's his name? Kell Brook, yeah, and Khan, and before that, the Australian dude whose name for some reason I'm forgetting. I mean, is that really... Yeah, does that really beat Canelo versus Jacobs and Kovalev and Callum Smith? I mean,
well, I can tell you that the panel, those guys, old school, and they really, really hold. A lot of them are, anyways, Vermont, but they hold unified, undisputed, unified champion in high regard, because that was before this jumping around thing was always. That's the benchmark. It still is. That's why so few guys do it. I mean, even Floyd never did it. You know what I mean? It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I feel you on that, Jimmy. But I don't really. I mean, I don't. I'm not saying I don't buy what you're saying. I don't buy that bullshit if that's the idea that they're giving. Because first and foremost, Crawford had the easiest 4-belt undisputed run in fucking boxing history. That's number one. Number two, that cocksucker ain't did nothing in these last 3 years, fam. 2 or 3 years, he ain't done nothing. Beating Jeff Horn. What, Jeff Horn? When was Jeff Horn ever an elite fighter? Like, he ain't done shit. He can't be reigning on top because of some achievements from 140. What the fuck they got to do with 145 in the past few years? And then beating Undongo for the 2 belts he had, who was on a severe decline when he beat him. So the fuck what, bro? Like, Crawford don't deserve to be there no more. And it's a company thing. Because he's with ESPN, that's why they fucking pumping him up like that. That's all it's about, bro.
Yeah, I think he deserves to be in the list, but I mean, as far as him being above Canelo, I have a very hard time. Like, even if I wanted to just for fun, I wouldn't take the position of defending Crawford against Canelo. Now, it's interesting because I look at the comment section here for this article on Boxing 24, and this one fella says, when Crawford mops the floor with Porter, I wonder what the excuses will be. Shake my head. Well, first of all, when that's always been, it seems, for the past 3 years, that thing with. By the way, I hear somebody in the background with the pots and pans.
Cans.
The guy said when he beats Porter, what's going to be the excuse then? Well, when is he going to fight Porter? When is he going to fight somebody? Because that's
when is he going to fight Porter?
The past 2 years, man.
That's a good question.
The past 2 years, that's always been. Well, when he fights this guy, he's going to look good. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still waiting.
That's why, man, when it comes to pound for pound, BDA, I'm just going to give you my straight answer. I don't give a fuck about pound for pound. Doesn't mean shit. Mm-hmm. Look, I already told you guys know how I pretty much feel about Canelo. I'm just going to leave it at that. Terence Crawford is not pound for pound the best fighter. I don't care who puts him there. He's just not the best pound for pound fighter. I think Spence is a higher pound for pound fighter than him at this point. Okay, because I think
he's nicking it.
Because I think when it comes to welterweight, which is the weight division that Terence Crawford's in and always belonged in, okay, I think that he's not until they fight. Spence looks to be the better guy. He's got the better resume at welterweight. So that's all I got to say about that. It means nothing to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you said that. Recognize that welterweight where he belongs at. Because while all of these idiots was crying about Spence being a weight bully, the fuck they thought Crawford and Mikey Garcia was doing down there where they was at? They was weight bullying too, but you ain't hear none of that shit.
Both Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez are a couple of frauds. Wake me up when they fight a real fight where we could actually see what they're made of. Because when I see Crawford fight, they count knockdowns where he grabbing the dude behind the head, pulling him to the canvas, and then somebody else knock him down. They don't call that shit. So that tells me that dude is protected and a fraud. Talented, skillful, yeah, but he's never. Once he leaves the top rank protection, once he leaves the top rank protection umbrella, then we'll find out how good Terrence Crawford is. And we found out how good Canelo was when he left a little bit, just took a dip outside of the Golden Boy protection area umbrella, and he lost both of them fights. So fuck out of here. Neither one of them do. They're both fucking frauds. All right.
Just goes to show how great of a fighter Golovkin is, but I think Canelo is really pound for pound in my opinion because his defense is the best. It's an active defense where he finds opportunities to punch, and his blocking or is making you hesitate when you throw and get your shots off because you don't want to get countered. And I think his defense is really, really good.
Yeah, his defense, his bending at the waist is unbelievable. His movement from the waist up is great.
The block,
sometimes
the Canelo and GGG fights were close. Okay, if somebody want to say GGG won both of them, fine. I don't even care. I'm not gonna argue that. So let's say GGG won both fights. They were still close.
They were competitive fights. They
were still close competitive fights.
Well,
so if Canelo's nothing, then GGG is shit as well because he struggled. The
first one wasn't. The first one wasn't. I mean, the first one, Triple G clearly won. I mean, it was competitive, but I don't think you can make the argument
that's
that
my
Canelo.
point. It was competitive. So if he's a bum or he's trash and he's not this, then GGG.
Look, I want to say this about Canelo.
A trash fighter.
Canelo, because look,
be the logic.
Look, I don't want. I do care about this channel, right? So I'm gonna keep it the way. Just keep it boxing. Canelo's very talented. Okay, he's a very talented fighter. There's no doubt about that. There's certain things he's missing because he's human. I just don't like the sneaky tactics outside of the ring that he does. I can't rank him number one pound for pound. Knowing that in the back of my head and saying, well, I'm just going to ignore it. To be fair, he's a very good fighter.
These guys ain't fair, bro. These guys cry about corruption and then they fucking suck off Canelo like he's something special. Look, man, I'm sick and tired of getting misinterpreted. I never said Canelo is not good. I just said the dude is a fraud. All I'm saying is that he's not as good as advertised. And the only way we could find out how good either one of them two guys is when they pitch a fair one. And they don't do that. So if you want a fanboy for either one of them two and pretend like they're doing something special, hey, have at it. I'm not going to be part of that fucking circle.
Well, you know what? Speaking of special...
you don't mean me, do you, dude? I was just saying he was good defense at the waist. I wasn't saying...
Yeah, no,
I think Canelo is extremely talented. No, this is what you guys aren't getting. Let me
you guys... No, so is it... you're not talking about me, right, then?
No, he wasn't talking about you.
Look. No. Let me say something, because people are completely misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying the guy's not talented. Of course he's got skills. And I've been on here catching slack for giving Canelo credit for knocking out fucking Khan because I was talking about skill. When we talk about skill, we talk about skill. I got it. Right now we're talking about rankings. I'm saying I cannot rate the team that tells... Hold on, let me finish. I cannot rate the team that makes the hoop of the other basketball team smaller, the hoop that they're shooting into smaller. I cannot say that he's the best because that's nonsense. That's a fraudulent way to go about fighting. You can't prove you're the best until you start fighting on a level playing field. And neither Canelo or Crawford have done that. So I can't say that they're the best. Now, if you want to say that they look the goods because of the skill, then what's that got to do with anything? That's just your opinion, and I respect that.
Well, let me just interject here and say something.
All right, never mind.
Well, go ahead. Yeah, hold on, Jimmy. Let me just say something because we're getting into the pound for pound thing. That was the point here. So SSB asked the question, like, where's Inoue in the list? Well, SSB, according to ESPN's rankings, which are different obviously from Ring TV, now Inoue is number 3, Canelo Alvarez number 2, and Crawford is number 1. Let me just put that up here on the screen. So there you have it. Terence Crawford number 1, Canelo Alvarez number 2, Inoue number 3. Somebody did bring up the good question, or a good point rather, in another stream and message boards across the internet where they're saying, well, listen, Canelo Alvarez did test positive for a banned substance. Should that disqualify him? Forget about the Hall of Fame down the line. Should that disqualify him for being pound?
Well, listen, it would disqualify.
Can I say something? Here's the thing, though. Canelo has been doing a lot of shady stuff, right? But in my opinion, he's still that good that doesn't really affect his ranking, because for example, myself, I used to tell you Pacquiao's on something, right? Remember? Mm-hmm. But I still had him as the best pound for pound boxer, right? I didn't. He's taking these PEDs, and his opponents probably are not taking PEDs. He's afraid. Roach is telling these fighters they can move up, they can fight at this weight division. They had to go down. They have Cotto had to fight at 146 for no fucking reason. I still consider Pacquiao one of the best boxers I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Exactly.
And
I still consider Canelo.
I mean, how much credit can you take away from a fighter for playing the A side?
Listen, what I don't like
this
about
is the question now we get into.
Okay, when the reason I don't give him pound for pound the best, just the same reason I used to do with Floyd. When I started realizing what this drug testing was all about, remember, it was pretty new when this shit started being talked about back in 2009, 2010. Floyd was the one. When I started to realize what that was about, I started looking at him differently. Okay, I started saying, wait a second. Floyd looks like he's getting bigger and stronger. He's stronger than Shane Mosley. Like, what the fuck? How did that happen? Okay, Shane Mosley was
an IV in his arm.
Was a beast against Margarito, and I know fights from fight to fight can change, but there was a significant difference in strength. So when I see somebody like Canelo and all this stuff that are coming out about the rehydration clause, I'm sorry, I don't look at him as this warrior. He's the ultimate warrior. Yo, I want to fight you, and he looks at you. He says, "Bring it." No, I look at him as, "Yo, I want to fight you. Yeah, talk to my boss, and then sign these papers, and I'll fight you." No, I don't respect those guys. I understand who they are. They're businessmen, like Floyd Mayweather. They're business. They're trying to create. They're trying to create as much money for every fight. That's by winning, by any means necessary. So I start looking at them as like a Vegas act, or these days, the Zone Act, or whatever the fuck. Okay, wherever he's gonna be fighting at. It's just an act. That doesn't mean he's not talented, just like Floyd. Floyd was extremely talented. Just like Canelo. Canelo has a lot of talent. And we've gone over it. I gave praise to him about the second fight against Triple G. I thought that was between him and Triple G, I thought that was one of the best skills displayed in a fight, okay, in a long time. But I'm sorry, I can't just ignore that he's fighting guys 10 inches taller than him and he's stronger than them.
Well, I don't think he's really gotten that much bigger, whether he's taking some shit or not, I don't know. But look, he started off at 54. He was never a 47-pounder. Now he's fighting at 68. In all truth, he's really gotten up only one full division, 60, 68. He was a junior middleweight, but now he's fighting at super middleweight. Really, he's not like one of those Mexicans that started at 130, 35, then moved up to 40. No, he started at 54.
Gonzalo,
if you're taking PEDs, at least be aggressive. If you're gonna take PEDs and all this shit, at least be aggressive and put on some sort of show.
Well, he is aggressive.
Hold on. Floyd was also taking something.
I think
Floyd was also.
He's parrying your punches, and he's parrying your punches.
All right, fellas, one at a time.
And he's punching
Gonzalo, what the fuck, man?
One at a time. Go
what
ahead.
What do you mean, what the fuck?
Gonzalo, let him finish.
I was talking, man.
Finish.
But I can't. I'm on a delay or what? I'm not speaking.
He's on a delay. No, he's on a delay. He's in Philly.
I know he's on the same delay I am.
Sorry.
Anyways,
no.
Floyd was taking something, so that's why he was when he could go 12 rounds and he's still fresh. But he was boring. So if you're gonna take something, at least like put on a fucking
okay,
show.
I totally agree with that.
Canelo's boring as fuck. His fights are boring as let's keep it real. Them are not exciting fights, man.
Which fights? I mean,
Floyd. Okay, good point. Floyd Maidana, for example, that first fight was very good. Floyd had some stinkers and he had some good fights, but on average, they're the same, man. Neither one of them is really an exciting fighter because the other guy is fucking compromised. Look. If if the first Triple G fight was officiated properly, that's another loss on Canelo.
Oh boy.
Drop.
No, we lost.
Well, can I just say
besides.
something about that Floyd thing? I think a lot of people don't talk about because a lot of people have always brushed the IV thing over. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can
A lot
hear
of
you,
people-
but Bucho gets really fucking pissed off for no fucking reason.
All right, well,
When
Oh,
I
man,
want
you
to
keep
talk,
yelling
fucking
and
shut me
shit.
the fuck up. I don't know why.
all right, well,
Well, I'll tell
a
you
lot of
why
pe-
later. Go ahead.
well, a lot of people brush over the night he got caught with an IV. Was that before the Pacquiao fight? The night before, right?
That was
Yeah.
the
Got
night.
called an
That was the
IV.
day of the weigh-in. The day of the weigh-in. Jimmy.
Listen, you guys have. I mean, until you like, if you've ever done it, right? And it's the reason why it's so outlawed and so illegal. One of the trickiest things is when you diet down, especially if you've melted off a lot of weight. Sometimes it's really tricky. You know, you could eat a lot and it's actually bad for you. I'm sure you've heard about during the Holocaust. Don't feed them. Don't give them all the food too much. It'll kill them.
They'll die. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what happens? Your body can get tricky, and it might just turn everything into water. Meaning, you might not actually get much even nutrients out of it. So the trickiest thing is how you rehydrate. Myself, I used to just eat a jar of Plantarol fruit before I went to bed, and every 2 hours the alarm would go off, and I'd eat some more carbs to do it correctly. So your body. So for him to take an IV, that IV bag, and people always say, "Oh, it was just water," and I'm like, that's better than any steroid he could have possibly taken. That's like people have no idea how much of an advantage that was. That he was the fucking just plugged his moisture right back into his veins. That is.
It was illegal. It was illegal.
It's so illegal, dude. Like people have no idea. Like people could have said he took 2 fucking different kinds of steroids and growth hormone, and I would have said he's still that take. And I would have said if I had the option of all the steroids I could take in the world, or the night before a fight, I got to rehydrate with an IV bag. I'd be like, I'll take the bag. He himself, dude, it's such an advantage, and it's been just blown over because to people it's water, and people don't understand how difficult it is to rehydrate properly. It's such an advantage, and that it's shocking that that's always been looked at.
You know
myself,
something, Jimmy.
Personally, Inoue, I have him as my number one. That's just my personal opinion.
Jimmy, you know why I know why you're saying that. I know exactly what you're saying about the IV drop, right? Because I needed one time, right? I had played a football game, and I think I exerted so much energy on like not calculated. It kind of was spur of the moment. I fainted. I not fainted where the lights went out. I was on the fucking floor. I couldn't move. And I remember
same as sunstroke. You had your
So,
body
no,
to
it was-
exertion. It shuts it off.
Yeah,
without the sun, it's the
something that happened.
same
I think
effect
it was-
to your body.
I think it was because I was so active. Remember, I played in these conditions before, but I was so active in this game that I exerted mad energy, and that it was put it this way, it was the energy that I spent that day was nothing predicted. I didn't predict that. It just spurred the moment. It just happened. So
Your body
I got
shut
the-
off because it was telling you if you kept going, you were going to die. That's your
Right.
body
No,
telling
after
you.
this-
You've
so
used
after the
all the
game-
electrolytes. You've used up all the fucking energy and the glycogen in your
Exactly.
liver. You have nothing left. So we're
Man,
gonna
when
shut
they
off
gave
in
me
the
that
brain.
IV bag,
Exactly.
when they gave me that, I didn't even ask them
You
what
could
they fucking
feel it,
did.
right?
Holy shit! I
could
felt
feel
like
it.
a new man. Like I couldn't believe it.
For your whole body, like a sponge, right?
Holy shit! It was just like, what the fuck? I
Hey
feel
man,
like
I remember
I could
there
do
was
this
a guy.
again.
There was a guy in the industry too. One time he fainted. They used to use that a lot too back in the day. Hey, by the way, fellas.
Well, I
real
didn't
quick,
want to
real-
say PDA. I
Right,
didn't want to say what
right.
really happened.
Hey, real quick, my fellas. Let's go to the phone calls because there's a guy been waiting there for a couple of minutes here. Let's go to. Hold on a second. 929. You're on the air. 929. What's on your mind?
Yeah, what's up, BDA?
How you doing, man?
Yo, shout out to the panel. I just wanted to talk quickly about Devin Haney, and I don't know if it's true about Ryan Garcia actually being on steroids. I mean, is it really true that he's kind of involved in that? I mean, that is with the Reynosos.
Well, look, listen. It's not necessarily that he might be on steroid. He could be on a whole other thing. He could be on EPO too. You know what I mean? Like that. That's what I'm saying is when we talk PEDs, it could just be anything that's prohibited, but that gives you an advantage. Now, most people are saying steroids because he looks more muscular than before. But
I'd say growth hormone myself personally. Growth hormone, most likely. Yeah, definitely. Keep your
You know
gains.
what?
It'd be
I
stupid
did
for
kind of
steroids.
like a drop in his voice for Ryan Garcia, so you never know.
Okay, wait a minute. Virtuoso, you've noticed.
A little more feminine.
Wait a minute, you've noticed that he sounds more manly now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
His balls dropped.
I'm just fucking around.
His
man.
balls finally dropped. That's all that is.
Oh, come on.
When my son turned,
I think
when my son
should fight
turned
him.
20 years old, his voice got deeper too. And I think this is what happened when guys get older.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it does
definitely.
because the same thing. My son when he hit like 21, that motherfucker had a deeper voice than me. It's like he
Go
vibrated.
listen to Ronnie Coleman's voice. I mean, come on, man. The case closed.
Yeah, but
I know what Roddy called me.
Guy Virtuoso.
I don't think he's on steroids. I'll let Virtuoso.
Yeah,
Hold
all
on.
natural.
Hold on. Go ahead, Virtuoso.
Okay, I just think, look, Haney should fight the winner of Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell. It's for an interim belt. I think whoever wins that has to fight Haney. You know, I don't think Haney deserves to fight Teofimo based on what I saw. You know, his performance against Gamboa. Prior to fighting Gamboa, right, his last two opponents prior to that fight, right, had a combined win total of 23 wins, man, against unknown opponents, man. They're that world-level talent. That's why I said that those two wins, right, were basically just layups, you know, for a belt. He's a prospect with a belt, you know. So I think he should just like wait out his turn. Maybe this could be a fight at 140 in the future. Because to me, Devin Haney is talented, as talented as he is, right? He hasn't fully grown into his body. He's still a young kid, you know. And I
Agree.
and, you know, and and I just like I asked Bill Haney's father this, you know, on a Ring IQ live stream that, how did Gamboa get that fight against Haney, against your son? And he basically flat out just told me that, the Gamboa team reached out to him. So it goes to show that the WBC, you know, they don't care about what age you are, you know, what level you fight at. You just win a belt if you're flashy, you know, if you do all these things, you know, and you're selling yourself as a promoter / boxer. You know, that Floyd Mayweather, you know, blueprint that they're following. But I think Devin Haney should just build his name to opponents that are not named, you know, Teofimo Lopez or Tank Davis. I don't think he's ready for those kind of fights yet. Not yet.
Yeah, that's
I already listed guys like Comey, Leah Walsh, this other African dude. I think it was I can't remember the name, but he was from Ghana. But
Richard
there's more names out there for him to fight, you know, and I don't think him like getting to fight Gamboa is enough to prove that he's ready for the big show just yet.
Right. So that's what we've been saying for the most part around here. But look, listen, certain. Hold on a second. I'm getting cut off here. Anyway, listen, Virtuoso, you made some excellent points there, man. I think most people just want to see Haney. You know, we want to see if he can adapt. We want to see him in a difficult situation and see if he can adapt and get out of it. Because so far, when he was fighting Gamboa, he didn't. Look, listen. I'm not giving him too much of a hard time because he couldn't stop Gamboa. But I wanted to at least see him piece up a couple of combinations in there. You know what I mean? And really be aggressive and beat the old man up. Because in fact, he was the one saying that, if I don't stop him, I'm in trouble. You know, I'm gonna look bad in there. And that's what happened. He didn't stop him, and he didn't. You know what I mean? So just be a little bit more aggressive. I'm not saying fight like a retard, but I'm saying at least put on a combination against a guy that you know you got outmatched, outsped, and outsized. You know, I don't think that's asking for too much.
If you're scared to get hit by Gamboa, then ain't no need for you jumping in the ring with Teofimo Lopez because you were too timid in that fight, man. You got to get inside of there and let it go. If you're scared to fight, if you're scared to get hit by Gamboa, you don't want to get in there with Teo, Lomachenko, Ryan Garcia because you don't want to get hit, dude.
But see, you don't hear that. You don't hear that from the Haney fans. Like all they talk about is, well, he's the mandatory for this web, and he's the mandatory for that title, and this guy avoided this guy and that guy. But okay, but bottom line, can he beat Teofimo Lopez? They never want to talk about that. They just want to talk about the antics.
He was never mandatory. He was never mandatory. These fans are so delusional with these Devin Haney stories, bro. He was never a damn mandatory. I got Bill Haney to admit that to me on live. That he was never a fucking mandatory. And he wasn't. He simply was never a mandatory.
Yeah, man. If Devin Haney ever becomes...
I would pick...
Sorry, look, if Devin Haney ever becomes a mandatory to Teofimo Lopez, What that actually means is that Teofimo Lopez will have to fight him. There is no, I don't want to fight him, give up the title. So if he ever is a mandatory, that's that. Like, I don't even understand why this conversation is being had at all.
That's true.
This is ridiculous.
Hey, this is what's going on, man.
Twisted between being entitled to something, like you're entitled to something, and actually deserving it. Like you're entitled to the fight, Devin Haney. Okay, all of you freaking Devin Haney delusionists. Because he had that trinket emailed to him, yes, he's entitled to the fight. Does he deserve it? No. I don't want to play some match. That's how it is. He's entitled because he got the damn belt. Whatever. Did he deserve it? Hell no. He ain't done nothing to deserve that type of fight.
And if he fought Teofimo Lopez right now, I'd give Lopez stop him within fucking 5.
Oh, 5 rounds.
I'm being
Nah,
dead serious.
Lopez. I
Absolutely.
mean, I respect your opinion, Jimmy, but that's a 50. And like, I'm telling you, that's a.
But
we just don't know. We just don't know what Devin Haney. We haven't seen him tested.
To me, he seems too afraid of power. The way he wouldn't exchange with
cool.
What's his name? It's something tells me he doesn't want to
Gamboa.
Yeah, I mean, if the fight was to happen, I'm leaning towards. I'll lean towards Lopez. But the thing about Devin Haney is that we just don't know, and this is where he needs to be fighting these. You know, I hate to call them second tiers. They're professionals and they do what they do. But those type of fighters, he needs to be fighting them.
Of course
he wins those fights, man. We're looking at. I might come on here the next time and be like, yo, I don't think Loma will
and
beat
more
him
than
as
just
easy as you
Fortuna,
think.
too, right? I mean, I keep hearing like, well, if he fights Fortuna,
Yeah, but if he goes in the ring with Fortuna and he washes them,
Fortuna and a bunch
goes
of
in
guys
there, he
like
washes
that,
them.
it's
What's the
crazy.
difference between
the thing?
Okay, like real quick, Jimmy. I didn't mean to cut you off, but he goes in there,
No, I cut you off,
he washes Fortuna, right? He beats him 10 rounds and then stops him, right? Let's just say, what's the difference between Teofimo? Like, what would Teofimo do to Fortuna? You get what I'm saying? Like,
look,
what?
the thing about
He'll knock him out in 3
Devin
rounds?
Haney. The thing about Devin Haney, and I'm not picking him to win the fight. Like, if the fight happens, we could talk about it. But the thing with Devin Haney is he has a very good jab and he has good movement. And what we found out in the Lomachenko fight is that Teofimo Lopez cannot cut the ring off. He cannot fight coming forward. He's just not. All he had in those first few rounds was ineffective aggression, and he got those rounds for hitting Loma with a couple of body shots to the nuts and on the gloves. So what?
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
So I don't care what you agree or disagree with. When I'm done talking, you could talk your shit. So
Okay.
so the thing with Devin Haney, like I see a lot of hate on the guy because of I guess the LDBC. I don't know. I don't get into any of that. I just look at what happens in the ring. I just look at boxing skill and the simple fact that the guy got wheels. He's got a very good jab, and we've never seen him even stunned in the ring. And he's not a little Lomachenko. He could beat Teofimo easy. Teofimo only got to punch his chin. I'm gonna tell you this right now. He only got to punch his chin.
Yeah, but that doesn't piss
Yeah,
off.
that was the
Brotherhood.
same puncher's chance he had against Lomachenko because he was just going to come in there with a shoulder roll in the right hand. Yeah, okay.
The guy got a gift. The guy got a tremendous gift. Good for him. Good for him. He got a good gift. When Lomachenko hit him to the body, when Lomachenko hit him to the body in the 10th round and had him on the ropes in the fetal position, and the referee stepped in. Is there anything else you'd like to say, D? Because I'm trying to make a boxing thing. You're just being immature.
I mean, dog, you ran up and cut me off with all your goddamn ranting, so I'm just going to keep saying Loma lost.
No. I did not cut D. Okay, D, stop lying. I did not cut you off. I was talking, and you tried to jump in, and because I told you to, and because I told you, yeah, goodbye. So, like, look, Teofimo, get out of here, man. The guy's good. So is Devin Haney. That's a 50-50 fight. Stylistically, he's a nightmare for Teofimo Lopez because, once again, the guy can't fight coming forward. We found that out in the Nakatani fight. He said, I don't want to fight big dudes anymore, Daddy. Please don't put me in a ring with big dudes. Guess what? Devin Haney is a big dude. So that's a big, huge problem for fucking
Devin Haney's 5'7", and
Teofimo Lopez.
Nakatani's 6'1", so it's not even close.
Teofimo Lopez is a counter puncher. He's gonna wait for you to come to him. And as soon as you come to him, he's going to find you at that corner. He's going to explode. He's going to catch and shoot. And he's pretty fast. He's real fast. So that's just his style.
He could win the fight, but I'm not. I'm not gonna start acting like it's an easy fight for Teofimo and he wins for sure. No way he wins. Like it's a very difficult fight for both guys. Period. I'm not gonna fanboy because fucking LDBC. I don't like the LDBC or some nonsense.
Well, I ain't LDBC and I don't agree with him. Devin Haney gets his fucking ass whooped. And I'm going to tell you like this. Hey, you think if I got for 1 second more faith in Devin Haney than I do in Vasil Lomachenko, you must have bumped your head. Because Devin Haney ain't all this freaking tall. He's not 6 foot like freaking Nakatani. He got a long reach, and that's what he got over Teofimo Lopez. But Lomachenko is a way better boxer than this goddamn dude Devin Haney that ain't proved a fucking thing. So I don't give Devin Haney no credit over Teofimo. Even if he was to go beat Linares, so what? Son of Lomachenko. I still don't say that means he beats Teofimo. Lomachenko's the best guy next to you can call Lomachenko the best guy. He's damn sure the best boxer at 135 right now, regardless of the fact that Teofimo beat him. He's still the best boxer, pure boxer. I'm not putting no fucking Devin Haney over Lomachenko. Lomachenko's the number 2 guy. And I'm not gonna sit up here and say, oh, Devin Haney can do something. That's what people want to hope, that Devin Haney can be the one that took out their precious Lomachenko. But he ain't the one. He ain't the fucking one.
Get out your feelings, see? Like, get out your feelings, bro. You're a little too girly for me, bro.
Katani could give Lomachenko a lot of problems because he's really tall and got punching power. That's the best style for Lomachenko.
Well, I gotta tell you, man, I just came back here to catch the tail end of that. Listen, styles make fights, man. Devin Haney's got one of the things that I do enjoy about him, and I think this could be a problem for anybody, and that's including Teofimo Lopez. It's that jab. He's got a shotgun jab. Now, if he can tighten up that defense and sort of add a couple more feints to his game, don't get it twisted. This guy's gonna be a problem, because the thing about boxing is, now it's easy to say, but it is simple. It's not easy to do, but it's simple in theory. If you can already make the other guy miss more often than not, and that's what Devin Haney's got in his arsenal. He's got extremely sharp reflexes. He just needs to tighten up that defense, and then if he can add a couple of more.
Defense is pretty tight too, BDA.
That's what I'm saying.
Defense is not bad.
Yeah, exactly. So there's improvement there. I mean, the guy's 22 years old. Now, if he hits you and you can hit him, what's going to happen? And right now, the reason why I think the Teofimo Lopez fight would still be competitive is because Teofimo Lopez is not a combination puncher. He's a one-shot at a time type of guy, just like Devin Haney, just like Ryan Garcia. That's what, Gonzalo and I were talking about, about this generation of fighters that like one punch at a time. And they like to bark, too, while they do it. Bah, 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 which I hate. Come on, man. Stop doing that, man. One of these days, I'm surprised. I'm surprised one of these guys hasn't gotten their jaw broken yet when they bark and get hit in between, man. That's fucking dangerous. But so anyway, that's my breakdown. I'm gonna do a film study on that one of these days on how good is Devin Haney and the room for improvement there. But look, listen, the point of this is that right now, Devin Haney, like I said, he needs to push the pace and fight somebody and at least prove in the ring, because everything I'm saying here is theoretical. He needs to actually get in there and do it the only way that counts, and that is to beat somebody. But as it pertains to Teofimo Lopez, by the way, some people were saying after he beat Lomachenko, like, oh, he should move up to 140. I disagree, man. I think that not too many fighters do what they should do, which is
Josh Taylor will wash him up.
But what I'm saying is, I would like to see. I don't know what you guys think, but I would like to see more guys stay in a division and really clean it up. Because most people say, "Well, he already beat this one guy, so that's it, move up." I don't know, man. I want to see some Carlos.
But the problem is, you know what it is, BDA? He's claiming he's too big for 135, and he does kind of look it. He does kind of look like a big dude for 135 pounds, so he might have to move up.
Well, I don't know, because people say that he can make the weight. So, I mean, I don't know which one.
Well, he's young enough, right? He's definitely young. This is what I was going to say about Ryan Garcia. Quickly, you kind of reminded me what I wanted to say. I don't think the kid's on steroids. I mean, can he be taking some stimulants to make him work out harder? That's probably. But I think that's the reason why you're seeing the muscles. Remember one thing, and I've always said this about him. He's only a teenager. Now he's like, in his early 20s. He's growing. So he's 5'10", 5'11". He's got a body to work with. He's got a lot of body that could turn into muscles. And all you got to do to make yourself look built, right? Take a fucking picture on Instagram and have girls, fantasize about you, is just put some baby oil on your body after you did fucking 20 sets of push-ups and pull-ups and maybe a couple of bench presses. Just do that and just take a picture. I think the kid, it would be stupid for people to be getting him addicted to steroids at this point of his life, where he's like 21, 22 years old. And the same thing for Devin Haney. I think those guys are just more natural because they're tall. They're tall guys, and they're at that age where, you know, they can fucking wake up with ripped abs.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah, they're like me essentially. They don't have to work out. They just
They're like you. They're like you.
They're
it's just that they put baby oil on them and take pictures on Instagram. And
well, so do I.
You know what I'm saying?
So do I. But listen, I think Gonzalo wants to say something. I saw him there propping up.
No, my dogs are barking. I gotta hold on.
Oh, don't worry about it, man. And by the way, yeah. So, man, listen, the boxing year is shaping up, man. I mean, we got a whole bunch of potential good fights, and that's the thing about Ryan Garcia. We're gonna talk about that when we preview that fight. But I mean, Ryan Garcia stepping up against Luke Campbell. At least, you know, he's stepping up, man. He's talking the talk, and now he's trying to walk the walk. So good for him. Also on the new, I don't know if you guys want to move on from that, but the other thing that I was seeing here was, what's the guy's name? Logan Paul. Yeah, I think it's Logan Paul. I forget.
Jesus, yeah.
I know. But he just said something interesting. He said, because I changed my mind on something. This guy is saying that, because Canelo criticized the Mayweather Paul fight, and he said that, what's it called? Exhibition fights like this, that they're a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. And Logan Paul didn't like that, and he called out Canelo, says, fuck you, suck a dick. Now, I'll tell you something. I changed my mind. I changed my mind on exhibition fights because when the Mayweather-Conor McGregor fight happened, it was 2 years after Mayweather-Pacquiao. So I was thinking, man, I still thought Mayweather might still fight some top guy or something, like he wanted to box. So when they made that fight, I said, come on, what is it? Now, though, 5 years later, you can tell Mayweather's not going to come back. He's retired. These exhibitions don't count as professional fights for me. So if he wants to do that, you know, go ahead. What do you guys think? Are these fights really bad for the sport and shaming the sport?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Virtuoso. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to lead to any growth. If there's going to be any growth, it's going to be in the bank accounts of the participants, not of other boxers. You know.
Yes,
so,
but the question was, is it bad for boxing?
It's one thing to have exposure, but it's one thing to retain that exposure, you know? And I don't see people like all these influencers talking about Badu Jack or Billy Joe Saunders. So forget about all that. Yeah,
but my question is it bad? Like, is it going to make things worse?
Depends how exciting the fight is, because look, fuck around. Not Jake Paul, but the brother.
Let me just say
hold on. One at a time. Go ahead, Virtuoso. Go ahead, and then I want to get to Gonzalo.
No. I just want to say this real quick. Big fights aren't happening in today's boxing, and it allows them to make these circus fights. That's the way I look at it. You know, if you're not grabbing headlines, you know, with fights that could get people's attention, you know, then you're gonna have people like Mayweather or Logan Paul or McGregor making goofy fights like this. You know.
Yeah, but Gonzalo, before I let you go, man, but Mayweather's been retired for 5 years. And he already did what he had to secure his legacy. So if he wants to go in there and make those fights, like if it was Terence Crawford fighting Logan Paul, then I would have I think most people would have a problem.
That's bullshit. Wait.
Well, hold on. Yeah. Let Gonzalo go. Gonzalo wants to say something. Gonzalo, go ahead, man.
Depending, it's all circumstantial how exciting the fight is. We know Mayweather is a real negative fighter, and he's going to be facing guys that are bigger than him. So he's not really gonna run a risk where he's gonna trade punches with these guys. But it all depends. Like Logan Paul, I think his brother's better. He got good punching power. Fuck around. These guys been training for a while. That guy could actually turn out to be a decent fighter to where he turns into like maybe an Andre Berto of the world. Maybe not that good. But then he finds himself fighting one of these fighters that are 40 plus. And they might one day find themselves in deep waters that they're saying to themselves, holy shit, I'm fighting this bigger guy that hits hard, that's really improved his skills. Who knows what can happen, but that's a long shot. And it's all circumstantial, depending on the matchups and the fights. But Mayweather is a boring fighter.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a slugfest.
You know, I hear a lot of people say this that he hasn't fought a real boxing fight in 5 years, but he's getting in there with YouTubers, MMA boxers, kickboxers, dude, if he's gonna do that, then fight a real guy. What the fuck?
But he
Like,
doesn't
fight a
want
real
to. That's
boxer. So don't tell me that he hasn't fought in 5 years, and therefore.
I
Well,
got you.
he's
Reckon.
officially retired now too, because he's been inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I mean, he can.
I think he could get out of that, no?
Yeah, it's not
You'd
like
have to, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like they're gonna stop the IBHOF. I mean, what are they gonna do? Stop me? But what I'm saying, recognize. I mean, look, listen. Mayweather already did everything he had to, and yes, I would like to see him fight some of these top guys. I still think he could give most of these guys a good fight. But like when people say, like Canelo said, this is bad for boxing. Is it really bad for boxing?
He's right.
But how is he right? Like
it's just
the attention that these fights are getting are ephemeral. They're short term. They're not long term. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
just following the personalities, not the careers of legitimate fighters.
Yeah, I got that. I got the virtual. So my question is pertaining to Canelo's point, accusation. He's saying it's bad for boxing, so it's ephemeral, meaning it's not. It's only going to be momentary. How does that hurt
It is
boxing?
bad for boxing when Mayweather he talks shit about active fighters, but won't fight them. He'll fight YouTube stars like Jake Paul or fucking Rude Paul. What the fuck he's fighting? He's making. Yeah, it's just.
You caught me off guard with that one.
I mean, look,
I got a good point to make.
No, listen, Mayweather. As much as I have my issues with Canelo Alvarez, as in terms of the integrity of the sport, he's right. At least he's fighting real boxers, right? He's fighting guys who box. That's what they do. Mayweather is sitting on the sideline. Well, nobody's better than me. Nobody thinks the way I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, but you're not fighting nobody. But Pacquiao is not making the money. Dude, you're fighting YouTube stars. You're fighting guys who are not. That's not what they were raised in. Fight somebody your own size. In other words, right? Fight somebody within your sport. If you're going to continue to fight. If not, just say, look, I'm done with boxing. I'm a circus show now. Come watch the circus.
Right, but if
Well,
he's already...
isn't that what he's done without coming out and saying it? I mean, it's pretty much what he's doing. Remember my first phone call on this show 3 years ago almost now? And I said the first time I called him, we talked about it, and I said, you guys have seen nothing yet. Before all said and done, when he's close to 50, because this is all he has. He's not educated in anything else. He doesn't know how to run a business. His financial sense, I mean, he bought cars. I mean, this is on, I mean, I can pull up the article, for $5.2 million. And when the IRS came within 14 months, he had to rush sell it for $2,700. So he loses millions of dollars on cars. He's done that with a few different things. So this is all he has is fighting. And it's going to get more and more of a circus act because the minute he loses, the shine is off. Then there's no reason to even see this dude fight anymore. You see what I'm saying? But he'll go. It's going to get worse before it gets better. It's just, but it does. The reason why I say it doesn't do boxing well, and I don't think it does the sport well, because if you're looking at it through a casual's eyes, it's a circus show in itself, and it's just goofy, and it makes the sport look goofy. That our supposed best of his era is fighting fucking YouTubers. But I'm sorry, Precise, did you just say something?
Is it going to be a sanctioned fight? Like, who's going to sanction it?
Right away.
Is it just another?
Like, nah, bro.
Hold on. Let Precise finish. Go ahead, Precise.
So it's just an exhibition like that.
My bad.
Like that little Japanese guy he fought over in Japan. That didn't even go on his box record.
Yes, it's not sanctioned, bro.
So it's not even professional boxing. It's just like, Stomp or Blue Man Group or whatever the.
Well, they call it professional because they're paying taxes on it, bro. That's seriously the only reason why they call it professional is because once you get paid, like it'd be amateur if you weren't getting paid. That's really the only reason why they call it professional boxing, but it's not sanctioned.
To call that shit bad for boxing is to take attention away from the boxers that are in sanctioned boxing fights that are bad for boxing. What the shit that Mayweather is doing, all this YouTube, is a symptom of the fact what's been done to boxing for many years already. So to say that that's bad for boxing is to not take responsibility for how you've destroyed boxing, Canelo. Basically.
Good point, man.
So it's just a deflection.
Go ahead, D. You were going to say something? All right.
Well, I tweeted out the night.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say I tweeted out the night they came out with the numbers. What 1.3 million pay-per-view buys that fight did with his last pay-per-view was the biggest pay-per-view since Canelo Triple G. And you saw everybody, right? You saw fucking Evander Holyfield the next day tweeting out. Look at he was calling out somebody. They're all the geriatric crew. I said it's getting all I'm going, but I said the same thing to Precise the same. I said on Twitter, none of this wouldn't have 1.3 million views if the guys today were doing their job. Exactly how I put it.
Well, that's
it was actually
point,
pretty popular tweet.
That's a great point.
That's a good point.
Because look, I was asking the question because I really want to hear some good arguments, and recognize did hit on something there about how Mayweather might be making the sport look a little bit bad, but him saying, "Well, I'm the best," and then he ends up fighting these nobodies, so people might get the wrong idea about boxing. But again, it's not. It's boxing actually does more damage to itself than anything anybody else could do for it. So I mean, it's actually I think boxing right now, these type of exhibition fights, I don't see the damage done in them.
As long as it's an exhibition, and Mayweather's like, look, and everybody understands, Mayweather cannot fight top fighters today. Right.
He's done.
Right?
Yeah,
if you do that, okay, that's fine. Like I understand where Precise is coming from. It's just an exhibition, and it's. All that is good, but don't try to sell yourself as you're the best. Well,
he's going to be going under it with that sign, bro.
Check it out, Jimmy. If he really wanted to, he could step in there with the best guys and beat them. Like, no, you can't because you would have did it. If you knew you could still beat these guys, and the top guys. I'm not talking about the lower tier guys. If you knew you could beat them, you would definitely do it. Right now you're trying to make some money against guys who you can beat. You could beat Jake Paul and his brother. Whatever the fuck the brother's name is.
Logan.
That's a good way of saying it. Whatever the fuck is
yeah, whatever his name is.
Logan Paul.
Right.
By the way, before we go, Virtuoso, go ahead. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, 2 quick points, before I go, because I don't want to hold up the phone lines, man.
Go ahead.
I think I got to give a shout out to Notorious Boxing. That channel is responsible to why I discovered you guys. And he posted a video of the case with Manny Pacquiao, fight of the decade from 2010 to 2019. Go check that out. And I also want to address to somebody, one of your parents is saying that Crawford was protected by Bob Arum. Bullshit. Last time I checked, he wasn't the one saying that, I want to raise chickens and pigs and cows like Errol Spence. That Brokeback Mountain life, trying to get a fight with Canelo, trying to get buff fucked in the fight. So,
wait a minute.
Wait, what's wrong with raising pigs and chickens and stuff like that? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, what's wrong with raising pigs and chickens and living off the land, man? Virtuoso?
He'd rather do bestiality porn than fight Terrence Crawford. Peace out.
All right, take it easy, Virtuoso. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Look, if Errol... I read an article about that on... well, it wasn't really an article. It's more like a blog posting, but it's from Boxing 24, and somebody was saying that supposedly Tim Bradley said... somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because I just read the headline, but that Tim Bradley says that Errol Spence wants to cash out by fighting Canelo. Is that...
He did say that.
Yes, he did say that.
So what does that mean?
It's a dangerous fight for Errol Spence. There's no doubt.
No kidding.
No doubt. He's going to probably lose that fight. More than likely, he probably loses that fight.
Of course he loses it. You know what I mean? But that's just it. He would get probably $15 million. So think about it. His next fight, if he's fucking lucky, is going to be about $3 million, $3 to $5 million. Think about that. So he's thinking, fuck, man, I could cash out. And he tweeted, if I stopped today, I'd be fine. Doing this, and that. He keeps on alluding to things, making comments that tell
he
you
wants
that
to retire.
Exactly. This ain't about legacy. He just bought a farm away from it, which was a smart thing to do. I guess it's far away from where he grew up and away from, I guess that all started after the flip, flipping the car. And now he's into like fucking horses and his family. Good for the kid. I'm actually happy for him. I hope things work out there. It sounds like an idyllic life for him and his family. But it's all signs of when somebody's talking about retiring, they're already halfway there. Trust me. And this kid, when he saw that, and Canelo even said, that could see some light, he jumps up. Yeah, you're looking at 15 to 20 million, depends on how they work out that pay-per-view split. And he would make more money than he would make in the next 3 to 4 fights, and then he would walk away. So who cares if he lost? Because legacy isn't what he's about.
Fuck around, man. Jimmy, he survived.
His private life goes. like real quick, insofar as his private life goes, like that's a great role model for the kids. Now, Virtuoso, what is he doing? He's a marketer or a graphic designer, so probably nothing. Look, if you want to say Errol Spence wants to cash out, I agree with you. But how is that different than Callum Smith, Daniel Jacobs, or Sergey Kovalev? How is that any fucking different?
Yeah, I mean, listen, look, when it comes to Errol Spence, if he wants to cash out, I mean, look, the only thing is that sometimes I forget that we don't live in the old new world. We live in a different world. So he might want to rethink that. But maybe that car accident did something to him. I don't know. Okay, he looked fine to me, and I was happy to see that. I was happy to see the way he performed against Danny Garcia, which shows that I think he can still fight and compete at the very top level. But if he's gonna fight Canelo, right? He's gonna be. I wouldn't say he's gonna be at his natural weight, right? Because Canelo's fighting at 168, and he feels comfortable there. But he's practically selling out, unless he feels, in his mind, like, yeah, it's not really that much of a sellout. It's me gambling on myself, and I know I could beat this guy. I don't think so, but I can see how it's easily interpreted that he's selling out and he's gonna, live on his farm with his kids and shit like that.
Well, listen, I don't know, because one of the things that I've seen from Errol Spence is like he went over to England to fight Callum Brook. The way he fights is just indicative of a guy that likes to do it. So if, let's say he does really think, okay, I'm going to get this Canelo payday and then I'm set. Maybe he takes a break. Maybe he gets drunk again, God forbid, and, crashes onto walls or something. But I think he eventually comes back to boxing. Because just like Floyd Mayweather, who realizes that this is what he does best, I think that's the same thing with Errol Spence. I mean, it's hard to walk away from this sport, man. Any successful boxer will tell you, man, when you stop that, no more adrenaline rush, no more feeling like a god after you beat somebody, especially in their hometown, and dominating a division and the thrill of combat. I mean, that's something that millions of dollars sometimes can't always satisfy you, especially when they, these young fellas don't know how to
let them
use
become junkies.
Exactly.
Replace that high with cocaine. You know what I mean? That's what they end up doing. BDA. Oh,
go ahead, Gonzalo.
Let me see delay.
Sorry, Jimmy. There's a delay on my part or your part. He was on that Ferrari, which got a horse logo, by the way. But fuck around, you don't flip that car or crash into a wall. But you fucking get drunk and get on top of a horse, and he throws you like he did at Keanu Reeves, the Superman guy, where you're fucking useless. That could end up happening to him if you don't got experience.
Christopher
Reeves.
Exactly.
Keanu Reeves is the Matrix.
John Wick.
I said Christopher Reeves. I never said Keanu.
Same thing. Yeah, D. What are you talking about, D? It's the same person.
Yeah, man. So get drunk, drink a couple quarters, get on top of a horse. Fuck around.
Wait a minute. Gonzalo, was Christopher Reeve drunk when he got dropped by the horse?
No.
Well, no, but he had horse riding experience.
Okay, we got to be careful. Right, but we got to be careful if we say he's drunk, because then my friend, the mentor, Rifle Shapiro, has to step up and defend us, and it becomes a whole thing. So anyway, it's true.
What an irony, though, that motherfucker can fly in the movies.
Okay.
But when he got on top of a horse, he crashed. He ended up in the fucking wheelchair, right?
You know what I'm learning about? What I'm learning about Errol Spence is that the kid lives a pretty base lifestyle. Like this is what I mean. Like, okay, he was going out drinking with his homeboys that liked him because he's a somebody in that town, and all this shit happened, and now he's thinking about, like, you know what, just living the comfortable life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he should do that, man. I'm not in his head. I don't know what happened to him, because I still see a guy that could do a lot. He can still win big fights and obviously maybe even go up in weight and win a title there. But maybe the kid is more back to his natural way of life, the way he grew up, the way he was brought up, that type of way.
Well, that's just to recognize he wasn't born in the hood. Like, he actually grew up middle class in the Dallas suburb, and it was when he got kind of big in boxing, he started hanging around with kind of the wrong crowds. Supposedly there was a lot of grief even in his family. I guess his family put a lot of pressure on him, and So I heard that's one of the reasons after the accident and the whole thing to back to his roots. I mean, because think most inner city black kids, just be honest, don't go out and buy horses and ride the way he did. You can tell that kid's been on probably horses his whole life. And it's not a poor man's activity, even in Texas. You know what I'm saying?
You know something. But you hit it right on the head, because I know somebody who lives in that area and said the same thing. That Earl Spence grew up in a very nice neighborhood in Dallas.
Exactly. So I think that what it is that's why it wouldn't be as a lot of that draw for the inner city kids who want to fight again because they almost have nothing else. I think Errol Spence, now that I've seen and read more about his horses and his whole farm life, he's a pretty down-to-earth kid, and now he seems like get his head on his shoulders. In boxing, always was to him something he was just really good at, but I don't think it's his first love what it is with some people. I could be reading that wrong. Kid's super talented. I just want to see him fight Crawford to get all this shit over with. But if he's talking about fighting guys like Canelo, that to me is because it's ridiculous because he has no idea what that punches to go up from welterweight to catch shots by fucking Canelo. That's just silly.
He loves boxing, Jimmy. I could tell, but because the way he talks like a gym dude, like everything he says, you know, from the beginning, since the beginning of his boxing career, when he was like knocking out dudes like what's the fucking kid from London that was like 40 years old, I forget his name. He fucking knocked him out cold. Every word he was saying was just boxing. Bundu. Everything he said was like boxing talk, gym talk. I went for the kill. I knew my man was kind of hurt. When people hear when you hear that, I know my man, that means the guy in front of you, right? Like we all know that, and like everything is boxing. So I think, but what I think is that he's seeing that after the accident. Maybe that's a cash out fight. Maybe he looks at Canelo and says, "Fuck Crawford." You know, Crawford is on the other side of the street, and there's no negotiation that. There's no negotiating that. I want 60. He wants 50%, and I think I should get the lion's share of the bargain. I might as well go up and be the B side versus Canelo for a whole lot more money.
And it's a win-win. He wins because he gets paid. Even if he gets knocked out, it's still a win. Nobody's going to say, well, nobody's going to shit on him from getting knocked out. You know, everybody will still say, but he went up to fucking 164 or whatever they were signed to fight at to fight him. So it's a win-win. He doesn't really lose anything. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, listen, I mean, it's a hard thing to pin down here because, you know, I do think he beat Garcia easier than all the other guys that have fought Garcia. But I also saw him getting affected by the punches a little bit more, which is understandable because Garcia is a puncher. But I don't know. I was a little bit surprised that he couldn't really beat up Garcia more than he did. Or maybe that's just credit to Garcia. But the point is, now subsequently, after reading this and what you guys are saying about his life and all that, makes sense that maybe he's had enough, but I mean, I don't know. It's still, I always saw him as the guy that's thirsty for fights. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard for me to accept that he's willing to cash out.
Doesn't he give you the feeling that he still has a lot of fight left in him?
Exactly.
Like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because this is what
But you know what? Recognize also the other thing that he gives me. I don't really know if I got like a real crazy delay or anything, but
no, you're good. You're
I'm
good.
sorry if I'm cutting anybody off.
That's okay, man.
I see something in him. I see something like Garcia. No, I see something like you know, he's not really like appearance wise. He looks a little slow. I'm not saying that he's slow or there's something wrong with him. Right. But you see fighters like Terry Norris, Meldrick Taylor, a lot of the fighters from the 80s, the damage they incurred by having these long careers. I could see kind of Errol Spence, if he had those type of careers, having those type of effects. Now, that's just speculation on my part. But if I were him, I wouldn't have a long career because he does look a little slow at his young age.
Well, it's his lazy eye, brother. He has not a lazy eye, but it's a droopy eye type of thing going on. And it does make him look a little goofy sometimes. But I think it's almost like a palsy type situation where he just had, like, you know what I mean? Muscles around his eye hang kind of low.
That could be, yeah, because I always see him permanently high. Like, I don't know, it always seems like he's got those, like you said, half. No, I'm serious. It seems like he's very chill or
he's a country boy. You know what it is? Like, Terrence Crawford is a big city guy. He's one of those big city boys. They underestimate the country boy because he's mad relaxed, and then he gets you, you know, on a one-on-one, and now you got to respect him because you realize how strong that motherfucker is. That's all it is. He's just a country boy that's kind of like, yeah, whatever, you gay. Like that's bizarre.
By the way, let me just real quick, shout out to Slugger Sam who says, "Open up the damn phone lines, fellas." I opened them up again because we've been open for 2 hours and there was a time there where they ended, but they're open back up again. So if you guys want to call in, let me just put out the number there. So shout out to Slugger Sam for his contribution, and shout out to G Boogie for his contribution. He says, if Errol Spence fights Canelo, it's a way out for him to leave boxing, because if he wants to fight Canelo and lose and come back down and fight either Manny Pacquiao or Crawford, the narrative will be that he came down too fast. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see people saying
true. Yeah.
Shout out to G Boogie for that. But go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, he would. It wouldn't be smart for him to come back now, because almost in history that's never worked out. It almost never works out for anybody in that situation. I really believe. Well, the fight they're trying to make for him, make no mistake, the one they're pushing for, and the lawyers involved, because Manny signed with another promotion company right now, and they're trying to avoid it. It's some other side promotion it's because he got involved with MMA shit or something. I don't know. It's a promotional company that normally handles MMA. So his people are saying he's still going to, not verify, but support his contract. They never said what it was, but if you read between the lines, one time he tweeted out about, these are the 3 fights I want to make. You know what I mean? Right after the contract was signed. So that tells me, okay, he had a 3-fight contract with the PBC. They paid his taxes. He's now done 2. He has to honor the 3rd, and I believe that's what they're trying to push on him. He's saying he doesn't want Spence for the 3rd, but they're saying we want Spence. But anyways, that's the fight, and that's the reason why they're paid schlackies like fucking Ortega and Mike Carpenter and those guys are all pushing it because they got the word from above, push the Manny Pacquiao fight, and that's why they're doing it. Yeah, there's he owes them a 3rd fight. They know that'd be the biggest pay-per-view, and that's the one they're going for. So the Crawford thing won't happen. Definitely won't be happening next.
Geez, Luis. All right, well, listen, let me go to the phone lines then real quick, because we've got people here who they just had to have their BDA call, and we're here to serve, man. 226, you're on the air. 226, what's on your mind? What? Hold on a second. Go ahead, 226, you're on the line. 226, you're on the air, man. Is this Slugger Sam? Slugger, talk to me, man.
Slugger.
Talk to me, man.
Guys, my phone line is always messed up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. What the fuck? Like, get it all ready, man. Once we answer, you ready, man.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But yeah, what are we talking about here, fellas? What's the question?
Oh, jeez. Well, listen. Right now, we were talking about Errol Spence and about how.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Listen, how about this?
Go ahead.
I've said it a million times. Okay. I've said it. Okay. Listen, Dr. Dre will drop Detox before Errol Spence and Crawford fight. Okay, so let's forget about that fight. That fight's never gonna happen.
All right.
Okay. Dr. Dre will drop Detox before those 2 fucktards fight. Okay,
I don't get the reference. Hey,
let me have a talk with this guy. I'm going to make it short and sweet, all right?
Go ahead.
You know what you owe me. Bring it.
Hold on. Come on. I don't get to talk that much. Just give me.
Bring me what you owe me.
BDA. Come on, brother. Please, let me just talk for a second, would you?
You're breaking up, man.
I don't want to get mad. You're getting me upset right now.
Recognize. Hold on. I want to let you talk, Slugger, but you're breaking up, man. I don't know if it's just me, but I hear your line breaking up a little bit there. A little bit.
Hold on. How about now? Is it better now?
No, man. You need to get as close to the microphone as you can and just scream.
It's like you're on reverb, right? It's shaking.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know what's going on with this film.
This should be better. Is this better now?
A little bit, but it's very low, man. Guys, remember, if you're going to call in, don't be afraid. Get as close to the microphone as possible, because otherwise it just makes it the people on the panel and the people on YouTube, they can't hear you properly. Remember, we've got
the microphone
shit in your mouth.
I'm getting a little bit. I am. I'm close to the phone. You could hear
Fantastic.
me now. You could hear me.
We can hear you. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right already.
Listen,
go ahead.
Hold on. Recognize. Let a real man talk. Just give me a sec. So this is what I'm trying to say.
All right. I was.
Forget about that fight. Listen, we can forget about that fight because apparently Al Heyman and Bob, they want to act like 2 little girlies and they don't want to make the fight happen. So we could forget about that fight. That fight ain't ever going to happen. But we need to focus on What was that? Somebody just smirked at me?
Yeah, somebody smirked over the phone. Yeah, go ahead. Come on, Slugger. There's other people on the line, man. Come on, man. Let's go. Chop, chop.
Wait. You show Slugger respect when I call. Okay, listen.
Whoa. I think somebody burped you, to be honest with you. I think somebody burped.
You're making me turn into evil BDA, man. Come on.
Fellas, just give me one more minute. Just give me
You're
one more
bringing evil BDA out of the woodwork. See, you gotta be careful. He's coming out, man. So go ahead, make it quick, make it snappy.
Listen, there's literally one fight that I think we all want to watch, and we all just want to get it out of the way, okay? And it's not Fury versus Wilder, okay? I think, and I don't want to sound like an asshole or anything, but listen, I think Wilder maybe needs one more. I think Wilder maybe needs one or two more tune-up fights. So I don't think he deserves a shot at the title. I think we should see AJ versus Fury and undisputed all 4 titles. I think that's what we all want to see. Can you guys agree with me?
Fellas,
the fight's pretty much signed, isn't it?
I disagree. I disagree a little bit, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Recognize primed.
Wait. You can't disagree. You can't disagree.
Well, let me tell you why. Hold on. No, I'm serious. I got a serious point to make here.
You don't have that right. You don't have that right to disagree.
Look like a
listen, I'm disagreeing with you. All right, don't get me upset. Don't get me upset. Don't do it. Don't do it.
This guy's trying to push your buttons. Recognize.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go right the fucking head.
Yeah, Gonzalo's right. Just go ahead, man. Make your point. And
no, I want to say something. I disagree with the Canelo spins. Yeah, they can make that fight. Doesn't Canelo ride a horse too? And they can put the Ferrari logo on it and call it the horse show.
Listen, I think AJ should fulfill his obligations as a champion and fight his mandatory, or else get stripped. So that way you can make the unification, the undisputed fight, if you win against Tyson Fury. That's right. That's what I wanted to say that I disagree with.
That's right. There you go. So Slugger, thank you for your call, man. We gotta move on. What's that?
So hold on. Okay, can I just let me say one more thing? Do you got listen? No offense, man, but that performance that Usyk. Will you just please just give me one more sec? I know you guys are busy, but that performance that Usyk had versus Chisora was embarrassing, man. He ran around the ring the whole time. He ran around. Is that really who we want to see fight Joshua? Usyk? Seriously,
yes.
A real cruiserweight. Oh, come on, man. You guys are not even being real with yourself. Bro, he ran around.
I want to see that fight.
Chisora.
Well, listen, Recognize wants to see the fight, and I'm a hold on. So,
guys, just let's be
I gotta go, otherwise evil BDA is gonna come out of the woodwork and destroy the universe, alright? So we gotta go, Slugger. So thank you for calling in. Oh, geez, Luis. Thank you for calling in. We'll catch you on the next one, alright, fella?
You cut me off short? All right, man. Peace out. All right.
Wait, is that a joke about my dick? Go fuck yourself. Anyway.
Ain't that right, BDA?
No, it's not
Canelo
right.
ride horses.
Tell him you were just fucking with him, BDA.
He's off the
line. Fence, the WBC can make a horse belt and put the Ferrari logo from the
No, they're not gonna make a.
They're not gonna flip over in.
They're not gonna do that, Gonzalo. And in fact, I would hate they do that because then they got more belts. We gotta cut that. All right, Recognize. Keep your dog in check, man. Come on, let's go. All right.
That's me.
I know. Jeez, Luis. All right. Let's go to another phone call real quick. 202. You're on the air. 202. What's on your mind?
Hey, B-Day, how's it going?
Good. Who is this?
202.
This is Ron. Happy holidays to you guys.
Hey, happy holiday, Ron. Thanks for calling in, man. What's on your mind?
I'd like to touch on the topic of Canelo saying that what Mayweather is doing is detrimental to the sport. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, this is my opinion. I don't really think so. I think the damage that's done is already done. Like if you're a boxing purist, I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of like if I had to put it in perspective, I would say it's kind of like the way that the older guys look at basketball nowadays. And the reason why I say that is because
it's soft.
Mayweather started this, this whole trend of, making sure that, he gets the right amount of money, like for specific fights, and if it's, if the contract's not right, and it kind of started this trend. It's kind of like that mobility, like in basketball that LeBron started. So the damage is, is already done. I mean, it's just, if you're a boxing purist and you've been watching boxing, over, the span of 30 years, you're kind of not liking the, the new trend, but it's a paradigm shift. I mean, things are, bound to change. Outside of that, what he's doing as far as, taking these fights, I mean, we wouldn't criticize heavily, on, people like Michael Jordan still talking about, still making statements, and making himself, to be
LeBron, he's better.
In statements, comparing himself. Say that again.
Like, in other words, if he was like, "Yo, I'm Jordan, I'll school LeBron till this day," type of thing, yeah.
Right.
Like
right.
that's what you.
And he does.
Yeah.
I mean, right. I mean, and that's natural. That's a natural thing. When you've done it, and you have that competitive, nature, and and you've been there, you're always gonna have that. I mean, like me. For example, I fought in the amateurs a little bit, of course, my career didn't go that far, but I mean, you kind of see yourself living vicariously through, these people that because you can identify with certain things, when I'm watching.
Tell the truth, Caller. When you walk outside, Caller, when you walk outside, you feel like you can lace anybody up, right? Like, because that's how I felt when I was boxing. When I was amateur, I feel like I could beat up anybody.
Dude.
That's because recognizes a sociopath.
Well, no, I mean, not when I walk outside, I feel like I can lace anybody up. I don't, I'm not going around like, yeah, man,
No, of course not. But you're saying like if they touch me, I'll lace this dude up quickly.
Level.
Right, but you gotta recognize not everybody's a sociopath like you that goes around looking for fights, man. So.
No, I'm just saying that sometimes you get this overconfidence, like you're like, I'll fucking watch this.
My perspective is more just on a competition level, so I'll watch a fight and I'm like, oh yeah, I notice certain things, it's kind of, like I said, you kind of live vicariously through, these active fighters, and I mean, Jordan has, played exhibition games and stuff like that once he was, once his career in basketball was over. So I mean, I just try to put things in perspective with it.
I agree, man.
Well, he had to because he was betting $1 million a hole playing golf. The fucking mental patient. But can I also say that Jordan's on his behalf? He also played basketball when those motherfuckers were tackling his ass. It's a totally different game today. They barely touch each other. It's a foul.
But he had Jimmy. He had the politics on his side. That's why they used to come up with remember that saying, the Jordan rules. Not that he.
No, absolutely. The traveler, travel and shit. But still, dudes were hanging around his neck and shit. I mean, it was a violent game compared to what it is now.
When he won his first championship, when he won his first one, dude, he really showed that was the best Michael Jordan I've ever seen because the rules were
revolutionary. The game. Changed
no, not only that, the rules were the same. You could smack Jordan in the face and you wouldn't get called for a foul.
Yep. It's crazy. Put your hand out and smack him right across. No, it's nuts.
You guys don't want to get me talking about Michael Jordan because I'm pretty sure that topic will piss a lot of the guys on the panel off. I'm a big LeBron fan, so I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I want to get into that topic.
It's a boxing show, bro. It's a boxing show. Let's not talk about that weekend.
We'll do a basketball show on D's fucking channel one day.
Yeah, man, because I don't know jack squat about basketball. All I know, I've heard that LeBron's a Mason and that he probably does black magic and sacrifices kids. So I don't know anything about.
Take that girly shit over there, man.
Okay, now come on, no, wait a minute. I didn't say that. Anyway, listen, Ron. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
Let me see here. What else I got? As far as Crawford and EJ fighting, I don't really think it's going to happen either. Unless Crawford gets out of that contract. I think his contract is going to be expired this coming year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
hey, Caller, who wins? Who wins if they fight?
We'll see what happens.
Who wins if they fight, Caller?
Who wins that fight?
Yeah, EJ and Bud.
If it's not going to be. It's not going to be. It's you know what? It's hard to tell, and this is what I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna put this in perspective. Like from my own experience. So when I started fighting, and this is the reason why I would like to see Crawford fight Porter first, because when I started fighting, it's so many levels. It's so many levels and so many tiers to to fighting that I would like to be able to gauge. It's hard for me to gauge what his level is, I mean, because you look at these videos of Mike Tyson, hitting the bag and stuff like that, or these guys, or using another basketball analogy, these guys shooting up, 3-pointers and stuff like that. It's easy to do when you don't have somebody in your face.
So you want to see him fight a guy like Porter first, is what you're saying, right? You want to see him fight Porter first.
I want to see him fight Porter, and then from that point, I would be able to gauge, a little bit better, because like I said, with myself, when I started fighting, my first spar match was against my homeboy Marquise. And this guy, I mean, I probably landed,
I know Marquise.
2 punches on him in a whole fucking round. I probably landed 2 punches, and then I watched Marquise, because I was actually training at Bald Eagle with Headbangers, and so I mean, I'm sure you guys know Lamont Peterson, but Lamont Peterson was there. I'm from DC. Lamont Peterson was there, and Marquise went into
the. We're from the DMV.
And Lamont made Marquise look exactly how Marquise made me look.
No kidding.
So I mean, I would have to gauge, based on somebody like Porter, and then from that point, I'll be able to tell. But it's, I don't know. It's just
Well, can I ask?
But hold on, Jimmy, we gotta move on. But Ron, thank you for your call, man, and great points. And call back the next time, all right, man?
Oh, I was just gonna ask.
Absolutely. You guys have a great one.
Take it easy, man.
Take it easy, Ron.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, I just wanted to hear his reasoning behind him leaving Top Rank. I don't know how that would help make that fight. I mean, even if he was to go to the PBC, which would be silly because, outside of stagnation, I mean, those guys don't fight enough as it is. There's not enough. They don't have the slots. So even if he were to go there, it doesn't mean he's going to fight Spence. I just don't. I mean, put it this way: if he had already gone over like everybody wanted him to, Bob, remember, came out of pocket to keep him. Just give him a stay busy fight with Cal, whatever, and that cost him $3 million out of his pocket. Al Heyman didn't put anything out of pocket for any of his guys. It was either pay-per-view or a bust. There was no fighting.
It's a bust out, is what it is. Yeah, man. Well, listen. When he calls back, man, maybe he can explain it. But he made a good point about what I was saying about Devin Haney is put him in there against somebody, and then we can have a better assessment of what this guy is all about. Let's go to another phone call real quick. 757, you're on the air. 757, what's on your mind?
Greetings and salutations, everyone.
Oh, is this G Boogie?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
What's up, man? I see you made it back to the U.S. in one piece, man.
G Boogie was doing 200.
I wanted to say something to Slugger Sam. First of all, get rid of your Obama phone. Let me know what your address and I'll send you a new phone. Okay.
Oh man. Well, yeah, people are saying in the chat saying, "Oh, you kicked him off." Well, yeah, G Boogie. Some people in the chat room say, "Oh, you kicked Slugger Sam off." I let him talk. He tends to ramble a little bit, so I have to corral him so that he can make his point concisely. And then afterwards, I had to let him go because we had other calls. I didn't kick that guy off. I gave him a chance.
We gave him a chance. Was starting to make me growl.
Well, I understood that.
Started growling like a dog.
His phone was crackling. He didn't understood. He couldn't. He could. I know he's getting old. He's probably my age. But at least I have a little bit of common sense.
He says he's 26. He says he's 26, man. So anyway, go ahead, man.
26, my ass.
That's what he said.
Common sense, dude. You called the show doing 160 the other night.
Yeah, that's the thing, G Boogie. Come on, man. You were driving 160 miles per hour, dodging the cops like it was
Hey, you gotta understand. You play hard. You work hard.
You ball hard.
Hey, that's right.
You're driving right now, aren't you?
I got your back on that one. When Ron said, you know, that you look around wanting to spar somebody or something like that, that's how I look at it too. I'm like, walk up to me.
Exactly. When you got the weapons, you feel real confident, right? You got the car that could go fucking 5 or 6 different gears. You're gonna use it.
Recognize? Did you used to name? Recognize? Did you used to name your fists like Jack Sharkey and Bob Fitzsimmons and like
I mean, listen. All in perspective, right? Dudes out of my. All in perspective. Dudes out of my league, street fighters, dudes like that. I used to be like, "What shot you want me to hit you with to knock you out?" Now, when it came to boxers,
to tell you the truth, hey, Mr. BDA, I used to call my right hand Dis and the left hand Troy. Put them together, I'll destroy you.
Oh man, that's a good one. Dis and Troy. You motherfuckers. We got a couple of. I bet none of what you guys are saying is true. None of it, absolutely.
It's all storytelling. It's all storytelling.
I'm not lying.
Recognize his right hand was baby girl because that's the one who was pleasuring him growing up, right?
My sparring
it was choppy and slappy.
Choppy and slappy. That's a perfect. Yeah.
Choppy and slappy.
No, I used to call my right the headbanger, and I used to call my left the body snatcher. That's what I used to call it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I used to have, for real, my 16-ounce training gloves. Sometimes I wear 21 because some of the guys couldn't handle my power. So I have Dis and Troy, and every time they piss me off and I throw a combo at them, I say, you're going to get both destroyed.
And yeah. I got straight A's in high school. Can we talk some boxing?
Yeah. Wait, one more precise. Besides, you're gonna like this. You're gonna like this one. And then Shannon Briggs came to my face and said, "Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ." And I said, "Nah, man, I don't want no problem."
That's right. That's right.
All right.
My question for G Boogie is
I don't want no problem with that.
Where he found the 21-ounce gloves that he had.
Shannon Briggs had huge hands, man.
But I think that I believe that Canelo Alvarez shouldn't fight Errol Spence. Errol Spence, stay down there, fight Bud Crawford or Manny Pacquiao. Get rid of that. You want to fight them and you just want that payday, go ahead and fight Canelo. Don't come back down. Vacate your belts. Let the 147 survive and somebody fighting them. I don't think what Ron was talking about that he needs to see Bud Crawford fight Porter. Nah, there's no gauging in that. Okay, Porter don't own a belt. The belt holder is Spence, Crawford, and Manny Pacquiao. That's the
G Boogie. Porter's the mandatory, bro. Porter's the mandatory, so he has to fight him.
Well, if he's a mandatory, then fight whoever's the mandatory that he's supposed to do. Just like what Recognize said, that he'd rather see Usyk, which I agree, because I'd rather see Usyk. Now you can get him out the way, and then now you go for the undisputed.
Right. Yeah. Listen, look. How much of Spence talking about fighting Canelo is just talk? That's all it is. It has nothing to do with a plan set in for a certain date. So look, I look at Spence for what it is. He has 2 belts. Off the top of my head, I don't know which ones they are, but he has 2 of the belts. He's a welterweight. I'm only thinking about him fighting welterweights right now, and so if Sean Porter exercises his mandatory and wants to fight Terence Crawford, I think Terence Crawford should have that. And by the way, if for whatever reason Porter wins that fight, then of course I would like to see Porter and Spence again. I'm just looking at it from a old school logic. I guess I could say old school because of the way today the narrative today is like, if you're the most popular, put those 2 guys in. I'm looking at it that way. And if Terence Crawford beats Porter, yeah, exactly. So it's like if Crawford beats Sean Porter, then let's get this fight happening. Let's put, if Manny Pacquiao, you're gonna fight or you're gonna retire. If you're gonna retire, that's great. If you're gonna fight, then okay, then fight one of these guys. If that's the deal.
You know what, man? That's a great. Yeah, just that's a good point. Just make the gosh darn fights, man. You're overthinking these things. Like, well, if he fight, they're planning. They're trying to play 4D chess. Like, well, okay, if he fights this guy, then he fights that guy. Then come on. By the way, before we continue, shout out to Slugger Sam, who donated the super chat, and he says, "Quit calling me an old man. I'm young and tough." Yeah, you certainly sound like it there, Slugger. I don't know what it is about Slugger Sam. He does sound like he's older than. He says he's 26, but then again, I don't.
He's probably high.
He's probably high, yeah. And by the way,
But he ain't in a midlife crisis, man. You old now.
Who? Wait, what?
Mr. BDA, I just want to say this to Ron. Ron, Michael Jordan is number one, not LeBron James.
All right. Well, I don't, I'm going to take your word for it there, G Boogie. By the way, G Boogie, stay on the line, man. Let's go to another.
Okay.
Stay on the line, man. Let's go to another phone call here. 111. You're on the air. 111. G Boogie. 111. You're on the air, man.
Yo, what's up, man? This is Be My Dick Down John here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Nice name, by the way. What's on your mind, man?
So currently, we're doing this boxing thing down in Watts, California, and
Wyatt, California.
How to do a nice
Wyatt?
Yeah,
hold on.
Watts.
Wyatt, California.
No, Watts. No, Watts.
Wyatt, California.
Watts.
No, Watts.
Where is that, by the way?
Crenshaw Boulevard.
Crenshaw Boulevard.
Anyway, we wanted to know how to throw a nice right upcut going towards almost like.
He's laughing. He's laughing at his own joke.
He wants to
He's laughing. Hold on. I want to see. I want to see the setup. I want to hear the joke.
What my partner is trying to say here is how can I?
he had to put. He had to give the phone to the other guy because he could. The other guy couldn't handle.
This is when trolling goes terribly.
Yeah, this one when trolling goes wrong. All right, hold on. Shh. Let them see. Let's see if it was worth it. Go ahead.
I need to know how to throw an uppercut without breaking my cock. I need your help.
Oh, okay.
I'd also like
without breaking your cock.
Slugger Sam, if you could help me out too. Can we?
Man,
have
wait a minute. But hold on. You can't laugh. Hold on. You can't laugh and pass it on to the other guy. Like I was expecting something. I was expecting something better, man. I was expecting something better.
Imagination.
Yeah,
you gotta call with a troll, dude. You gotta sit online with a troll, dude. Come in with some imagination, dude.
And you know what? That's what.
Seriously, we're gonna do a knock joke next time.
That's my go-to.
Kevin. BDA, that was no good. BDA stopped stealing cars and shit in the 80s, man.
Well, 70s to be technical. But listen, I mean, even cock references, that's what I do when I'm out of ideas, man. I mean, come on. 111.
Cock references?
Yeah, and on top of that, you telegraphed it. That was the worst thing about it. We could tell you were a troll when you were laughing and handing it over to your friend, man. I mean, you got to step your game up, man. Step your game up.
Terrible. Bye.
And he's
terrible. Bye. Intro.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, you're terrible. Bye.
Yeah, you gotta step it up, my man.
You're terrible.
Step it up.
That is a great ass.
See, that's when you're out of ideas. You start playing sound bites. Hold on.
Right,
You disgust me. Cry me a river, you fat fucking baby.
That's right.
You ain't gonna do shit.
That does sound like Kevin from Chicago. Now I'm wondering how old Kevin from Chicago
is.
No,
that's not no Kevin from Chicago.
No, I know it's not. I know it's not. But I'm saying he sounds like it, so it makes me wonder how old Kevin from Chicago is, because he says he's 20-something.
Buddy, it's not your fault.
Yeah,
it's not your fault, buddy.
Yeah, it's not your fault.
By the way, we got a super chat. Hold on, fellas. Super chat from Slugger Sam, the aforementioned Slugger Sam, and he says, "I'm born April 1st, 1994. What that make me BDA? I don't know. I'm not an Asian guy. What do I know about mathematics?" All right, and shout out to OG Boogie, G Boogie, that is, for his contribution. He says, "Slugger Sam, you're younger than the missing link." Okay, now I guess that makes me pretty fucking old. All right, listen, fellas, we've been getting a lot of phone calls here, a lot of people, and now we got precise. Yeah, we got precise
He's
in the shed.
36 years old.
Fucking precise is like fucking hitting a pig right now.
Yeah, he's trying to draw that blood so he can energize himself. All right, so shout out to G Boogie and Slugger Sam from their contributions. what else was I going to say? Well, listen, I got a couple of articles here, but I think we're pretty much done. I mean, we're hitting the 3-hour mark here. Benavides.
What's the articles? Go for it.
Benavides.
Is Soapy? Is the name Soapy in any of them?
No, no, unfortunately not, man. But what was I gonna say? We got here Lomachenko Lopez rematch. Nacho finally praises Canelo. Wilder doesn't mind fighting. Sorry, Usyk doesn't mind fighting AJ in the UK. Yeah, just that one last note about. Hold on a second. Slugger Sam with another contribution. With the super chat, he says, "Quit calling me old. It's pissing me off, fellas." Well, listen, Slugger, I mean, you sound old,
I just said 36. I just said his age. He gave the date.
Slugger Sam, ain't nobody trying to hear that, you old bastard.
Hey, can I say something about the Lomachenko thing real quick, BDA? Because it's kind of fucking been crazy.
Hold on.
Listen, I don't like...
Hold on. Before you continue, Mar the Machine, shout out to Mar the Machine, says, if you want to see Crawford versus Porter, go watch Crawford versus Diaz. Diaz has the same style as Porter. There is your gauge. Crawford versus Diaz. Wow, Diaz and...
I think you're being too simplistic about that.
Yeah.
That's complete horseshit.
Yeah, just because they're short doesn't mean that they fight the same
That's
way.
Slugger Sam again?
No, that's not.
Where is Diaz? Where is Diaz, by the way? Whatever happened to that guy?
He's gone. He's back in DR somewhere getting fat. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, hold on. Let me check what happened. I remember he lost to... who did he lose to afterwards? Or did he lose to somebody afterwards? Let me check. By the way, there appears to be...
Granados beat his ass and got robbed. That's what happened.
Francisco Santana beat him by
Who beat
majority.
his ass? Chia Santana.
Didn't Granados beat that guy at 140? I think it was a controversial draw or...
Majority decision.
So he just lost to Josecito Lopez, Chia Santana.
Okay, so hold on. So just real quick. So what happened with Felix Diaz is he fought Peterson in 2015. I remember that fight. He lost that one. It was competitive. He beat Sammy Vasquez, which was a good win at the time. Then he lost to Terence Crawford. And then afterwards, he lost to Francisco Santana. And his last fight was in March 2019. And that's it. He was already pretty old. He was born in... he's 37. So, yeah, that's what happened to Diaz. Yeah. I still give Crawford credit for the way he dismantled him, though. I mean, that was a beautiful performance from Crawford. And by the way, in the chat room, they're still going at it. G Boogie contributed with the super chat. Says Slugger Sam, with a name like that, you have to be old. Wasn't that the name of a 1929 baseball player?
Yeah.
Right, shout out to G Boogie.
Slugger Slam. Yep.
And then Slugger Sam comes back when another super chat says, "Say sorry, say sorry because you hurt my feelings." Well, listen, I didn't call you old. I said you sounded old, but I'm not putting your age into question here, all right, man? So I don't gotta apologize for anything. All right, so
hey, BDA. As far as that note, Berenstein giving credit to Canelo for his last fight. Finally, right. I kind of agree with that. I saw Canelo very strong, complete package defensively. I have to myself give him credit, because look, and Bucho said he's not fighting aggressive. I was going to mention he's very aggressive. Look how he's parrying. He's not even catching and shooting. He's deflecting your punch even before it fully arrives. He's deflecting your punch and countering you. That takes a lot of aggression, accuracy, and aggression to get rid of that.
Yeah, Canelo's great. Let's move on.
Callum Smith was afraid to hit him.
Well, that's all I wanted to say.
Callum Smith was afraid to land any punches on the guy.
He was aggressive.
Oh,
go ahead.
One at a time, fellas. One at a time.
Hold on. How is Canelo aggressive? I mean, yeah, compared to fucking Callum Smith, yeah, he was a monster. But fucking, what did he throw? Like 400 punches in that fight? Maybe. I mean, I don't know how you guys...
What's the average? What's the average at super middle?
I don't know how you guys could watch like these Canelo fights and not see what's going on. That just blows my fucking mind. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it's
can I be honest with my feelings? I didn't even talk about
forward. He's coming forward and throwing punches, and I was.
But these guys ain't coming to win.
Floyd Mayweather.
Well, that's what I wanted to mention real quick.
Probably some shit.
Well, Gonzalo, let me throw the jab. If Canelo got that high guard,
one at a time, guys. One at a time.
Yeah, he can block and ride them jabs by rolling his neck. That even if you do throw a jab and he blocks it and he's tough enough that where he can take it, wouldn't you want to throw something harder like a right hand? And when these fighters are throwing their hard punch, their right hand,
that's a good point.
Wait,
why don't they throw that right hand?
Hold on. Can you just hold on? And when they're throwing their right hand, hold on, please. And when they're throwing their right hand, they're afraid to throw it hard because if you throw a hard right hand and you miss, because Canelo can move ever so slightly, then he's gonna counter you big. And they're second guessing themselves when throwing that shot because he finds so many areas to punch you that you can't decide what really punch to throw with a lot of the.
Gonzalo, I have a question.
You miss, he's gonna counter you hard.
I have a question. Are we sure they're scared to throw those overhand rights? Are we positive? Because that's what it seems like, right? It seems like the most obvious thing to do.
Well,
they're not doing it.
Well, that's like
not scared.
guys.
If you throw it hard,
we're debating. It's amazing. It's amazing.
But look, guys, the more this guy moves up in weight, the less competitive the fights get. I mean, come on, man. Like,
75 is not his weight.
But you're not seeing it. You're not seeing it.
But you could make the argument that competition. You can make the argument that the competition there is not that just because he's moving up. Yeah, there's a disadvantage, the height and the weight. But what about the skill?
But if we're
skill difference, he would be in a very competitive division and move up and fight guys that.
I agree, but let me make this point. If that's the argument we're making, how the fuck are we putting him number one pound for pound at the same time? It's just like so many contradictions with this guy. Look, I dare you, go look at how Danny Garcia fights, and then look back to back how Canelo fights, and you tell me what the difference is. And now I'll grant it to you. Look, I'll grant it to you that he is a little bit more skillful than Danny Garcia. Okay, no doubt about it. But look at who beat Khan better, right? For example, and now people will say, "Oh no, you can't say that. You can't do that." It's blah blah blah. Just think about it. Just watch the guy fight objectively without any bullshit. Look at the skill he shows you in a ring against this guy, and then go watch Danny Garcia, and you tell me what the difference is, because I don't see any.
Well, I think Canelo has Canelo can actually throw straight. Go ahead, Bucho. Go ahead. Bucho, go ahead, man.
I mean, the Danny Garcia. Like everybody's entitled to. Can you hear me?
You're echoing on my side right now.
I can hear you.
I can hear you fine. Go ahead, Bucho.
Testing.
Oh, I hear you now. Perfect.
What was he saying?
The Danny Garcia comparison on your fight.
Go ahead, BD.
Yo, Bucho, I think you're on a super delay, man. I think because I said something and you were way. Yeah, I think you're on a delay, man. I don't know if it's I don't know if you're using line in instead of the output, the standard output. Anyway,
when you were talking the Amir Khan fight comparison.
Yeah, but listen. I don't know. Listen, I don't know who opened up that can of worms. I was ready to shut this down, and then you fucking brought up.
That's the thing with Canelo. It's always a can of worms. Weird.
All right, hold on.
Well, listen, Gonzalo. Can I just seriously say my one? Because I haven't even talked about that.
Hold on, Jimmy, real quick. Slugger Sam continues donating the super chat to Slugger Sam, who says, "Say sorry because you hurt my feelings. I'm the alpha dog here." He says 500 fights by 12 years old. Damn, he's a street fighter.
Nice, Slugger Sam here. We're sorry. Bye.
OG Boogie.
Let's get back to the subject. Go ahead.
Hold on. OG Boogie donated for the super chat, and he says, "Slugger Sam, this is for you. Stop donating. Go purchase yourself a new phone because I think your phone is older than you are." Then Slugger Sam donated again. He says, "OG Boogie, your mom's getting her cheeks clapped right now." All right, so, jeez, Luis, it's getting. Gonzalo, hold on. Yeah, but hold on. Jimmy wanted to say something, and then we got it.
I just wanted to, because I wanted to kind of. It's kind of both. I agree with Gonzalo a lot of things, and I agree that with Precise that he's picked his spots. Now, here's the thing. I think Canelo's a hell of a lot better than Danny Garcia. I think the way he twists and he just that slight angle, and it's quicker. He times people, and it's hard to catch him with certain shots, and he makes you pay. Now, and so I agree with you, Gonzalo, but at the same token, I was disappointed that he had a kid in front of him who you could tell was only thinking, I got to make it to 12. I got to, please God, don't let me get knocked out. That was for the last 5 rounds, that kid did anything he could but try to fight. So it was obvious Canelo could have stepped it up. And it was almost, I don't know if it was arrogance. This is what I'm going to do. Boom, boom, boom. The fight's over. Pay me. I walk away. That really bothered me because there was another gear he could have went to. Now, that being said, and I don't like the fact that, yes, I called it a cherry pick right off the rip with Kovalev. I said his legs are gone. His stomach's gone. I called that a pick. And then the Callum Smith fight, and a lot of people, I'm not saying people on this panel, but Twitter are like, I'm not upset with this. It's not a bad fight. I'm like, I'm like, this fucking kid went life and death with Groves, and he looked like fucking 50 pounds of chewed shit against a nobody. Just as against that kid Zenda. So I thought this fight was the fucking pick too. I called it like in a DM. Somebody tweeted out exactly like I said it was going to happen. So I'm both ways. I think Canelo is very talented, but I think he's just playing the fucking game. He's jumping around, picking off the fucking least, struggle, basically, the least talent against them, and calling for big money. And that's my problem with him. So I appreciate him, but at the same token, I don't like what he's doing. So it's just both ways for me.
Now, let me tell you something right now, man. Let me tell you something right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Canelo, Gonzalo. These fucking people, guys, I appreciate the super in the chat room. I appreciate the super chats, but you're hacking the super chat feature. I never thought it would be possible. You're interrupting the flow because every time I gotta stop and read your fucking and it's not even a shout out or anything. It's insulting each other. Slugger Sam donated.
VDA, you're making. Hey, VDA, you're baking right now.
No, but not like this, man. Not like this, man. Slugger Sam donated. He says, "OG Boogie, your mom's getting her chips." Okay, the OG Boogie donated says, My mom is clapping because she knows you are broke and your donations are becoming lower and lower, just like something else. Then Slugger Sam donated and he says, Boogie, you're so old, you don't even know what clap means. And then G Boogie came back and he says, Slugger Sam, the reason why your mom is clapping is because she's laughing at you because of your donations being lower and lower. And then Slugger Sam said, this Boogie dummy don't even know this young slang. All right, guys, shut up for your contributions. Really appreciate it, but stop it. You don't have to donate for me to read your insults. You can insult yourself, right, fellas? Don't spend your hard-earned money. Yeah.
Can I as I was saying, we've been
one at a time, guys.
One at a time, fellas. Hold on.
Okay, can we go in order?
Chaos.
I would.
Chaos.
Okay, all right.
Hold on.
I'll go.
I'll go. Hold on.
Fellas. Hold on.
I gave you a chance to speak before, right?
Hold on. Just real quick, before we continue, what are we going to talk about? Because I thought I was going to end the show and you guys want to talk about what? What is it?
I just want to ask one question.
Okay, go ahead.
Finish your point. Go ahead. Go ahead, then I'll go.
I appreciate it. Look, okay, granted, Callum Smith was not the greatest opponent, but defensively, what I saw from Canelo, I'm just going to mention three things. He can slip, he can parry, and he can block. I can mention other three things, but I'm just going to keep it at that. When you're a fighter and you're going to throw a hard punch, granted, Callum Smith's not the greatest opponent, and you think and you're almost certain that he's going to block it, parry it, or slip it, are you going to want to throw with that much commitment, knowing that the end result is being that, he's going to take that punch away from you? So why throw hard or commit to where when you do commit, you're going to get countered just as hard back. That's what I was just trying to say about that.
Okay, so the question, and this follows from what Gonzalo was saying, the question that I have, and, you guys want to answer it at some point, that's fine. I wouldn't recommend doing it right now. But you watch Callum Smith in the ring against George Groves, and look at how he's standing outside. Now, for those of you who don't know what outside means, that means you take a step in, and then you can reach your guy. That means you're outside, right? Tell me why he's standing and jabbing him with a nice snappy jab from outside, controlling the distance. And then when he gets in the ring with Canelo, he's standing mid-range where he just needs to extend his hand and he can touch Canelo. Why isn't he standing outside? Why isn't he throwing the snappy jab? Why isn't he control the distance? Why is he letting Canelo just walk in like it ain't no thing? You watch those two fights back to back, and you tell me why Callum Smith forgot basic boxing fundamentals when he got in the ring with Canelo.
Well, precise. Does George Groves
I don't
fight
think Canelo
like Canelo?
just walked in, though. That's the thing, though. I mean, there's technique behind what Canelo's doing, though. He's parrying, he's moving his head, he's slowly cutting the distance up.
But that has nothing to do with what Callum Smith is doing, because he's the bigger guy, and he controls the range. Canelo has to walk through punches in order to be able to do anything to Callum Smith.
Or through a jab.
So, no, he can't jab with Callum Smith. He has a fucking 8-inch reach advantage. Canelo can't jab with this. Canelo has to sell out. Canelo has to slip to the inside. As long as Callum's... Just watch the fights, because you're answering without watching them back to back, so you don't even know what I'm talking about. Just do yourself a favor, everybody. Watch just the first round of the George Groves fight and look at the distance that Callum Smith is maintaining and how he's using the jab to maintain the distance, how he's using footwork in and out to maintain that same distance. And
Can I give you my suggestion?
Hold on. And after I finish. And he's in the ring with a counterpuncher who knocked down Froch and hurt Froch that's never been hurt that way. Okay, so keep that in mind too. And then watch him in the fight versus Canelo, where he doesn't even try to control this.
All right, go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, I was going to say with I watched those fights too, and I think, and again, it's just my opinion, and I said it during the fight because I picked up on that right away, what you're saying. And when he throws his jab to full extension, especially the very kind of robotic he is, he's not a very athletic kid. So if things fall apart for someone who isn't very athletic, they fall apart bad, meaning if you're caught out of position, you don't have the athletic ability and your footwork to pivot quick and to step out of somebody's danger zone, especially somebody as explosive as Canelo. But my point is, when he gets fully extended on his jab, if it doesn't connect, he's going to be in no man's land. And for not very athletic, tall, lanky kid who was going way above his pay grade to begin with Canelo, I think he was just afraid of being in that position and catching some fucking hard leather. That's all. And again, that's just my opinion. I was just figuring off something.
Oh, okay. You know what, Jimmy? John Ryder put like he was cutting the distance as well, right? So what was happening there?
John Ryder has head and upper body movement. He's got quick feet. Canelo wasn't doing any.
Oh, so you can do it.
Canelo was just waltzing. Like, you just have to watch these fights. That's all you got to do.
I watched the fight, Precise. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I did watch the fight.
And to enter...
claim that I didn't watch the fight, but that's not a proper argument.
No. You have to watch these fights back to back and look at what Callum... You have to look at what Callum Smith is doing. Forget about Canelo, because in the first few rounds, he didn't do anything. He didn't even counter. He didn't even throw a single counter till like the fourth round. So to say that Canelo shut him down with counter punches, what happened in the first, second, and third round? That Canelo didn't even throw a counter punch. And to answer Jimmy's point, like, Callum Smith cannot be in no man's land if he's controlling the distance because he has a 4-inch reach advantage. So if he misses the jab, Canelo, hold on.
No.
So if even if he misses the jab but throws it from proper distance like he does in all of his fights, what Canelo has to do is he has to slip to the inside and then throw his punch. Like, it's just whatever, man.
Okay, but
he's not
sorry, I'm laughing. Okay. I'm laughing because Gonzalo. I'm laughing because people in the chat room, I think they're doing this on purpose to piss me off. High Low Sports Centrum, he's legit. He's saying Teofimo Lopez a champion, undisputed. Okay, shout out to High Low for his contribution. Thank you for listening to the show. Glad you enjoy it. Shout out to Virtuoso too, who says Slugger Sam versus OG Boogie in the Kumite. Book it. All right, shout out to Virtuoso for his contribution. Then we go back to the same old war here between Slugger Sam. Slugger Sam says, sorry BDA, didn't mean to oh my goodness gracious. Okay, sorry BDA, I didn't mean to butcher the super chats. And then he donated again. He says, but I had to put this clown in check. OG Boogie came back with another super chat. Says, Slugger, get yourself a new phone. Stop donating. Stop donating. Slugger Sam came back with another super chat. Says, go fix your dentures, clown. Then G Boogie came back with a super chat. Says, Slugger Sam, I could keep this up all day. I got that Arab money. So he's talking about.
Dude, you can't hang up right now, kid. You're gonna put your kids through college.
Yeah, let them fucking donate so they reach 10K.
And yeah, I'm on a whole new tax bracket now. And then High and Low Sports Centrum says that super authentic donations are received by Escariote. Hilarious. All right, shout out to High and Low Sports Centrum for his contribution. He looks like that guy that was with Omar Little when they tried to hit Marlowe in his apartment. I forget the guy's name, but anyway, shout out to High and Low Sports Centrum for his contribution. And OG Boogie and Slugger Sam, we get it. Just again, you don't have to donate your insults via super chat. You can just do that for free in the chat. So let's go to. All right, Gonzalo, go ahead, man. Sorry to keep you waiting, man. We gotta move on because there's two people in the phone calls waiting. Go ahead.
So Callum Smith was missing. He was getting countered, and when he was hesitating to throw because his punch was going to get blocked or he was going to miss anyhow, that he didn't want to commit. There's one or two things you can do, and that's the situation in real time. Okay, in boxing, or either you're punching or you're defending yourself. And if you're defending because you're undecided whether you want to punch or not, in real time, you have to think on your feet. So Canelo got the beat on him, and that's how he's inching forward and getting.
And that's true.
The punch.
And that's true.
Gonzalo, that is facts.
Gonzalo's right. Here's the problem that I have. With Canelo. I know it's not authentic. This is what I mean. He's taking so much shit. He's growing. His face is growing. His head is growing. His neck is growing. Everything screams of, I'm taking whatever I'm taking it to the max. And he's putting a rehydration clause on these fighters. So when he goes in there, he's the much stronger guy. And I don't believe that. It's natural. That's the problem, not the skills. I don't believe that you're natural because you couldn't do that at 154.
Recognize his hand speed's faster now than it was.
Let me finish. Okay, I'm sorry for whoever's talking. Let me finish. That's why I don't believe that as he's getting bigger, going up in weight, that he's that much stronger than these guys naturally. He is displaying. When he fought Callum Smith looked like he was fighting like the smaller guy. And you could see him grimacing with the punches, right? I saw it in his fucking face. I'm like, how's this possible? How's this little short dude doing this to this big man, right? With not great skills, just kind of like, I slip your punches. I throw these haymakers, but I throw them really fast. Like, okay, there's got to be more to that. I mean, why are you not punching this guy straight down the middle? If you're afraid because you're going to get countered, it's because that man is much stronger than you. Okay? That's what you're saying. And that,
yeah, he's definitely on something.
Hold on, let me finish
the thing is,
I don't think it's
ask
authentic.
everybody if they disagree with you, though.
No, that's fine if they could disagree with me. I'm saying my point.
No, I know, but I think we all agree on that. The guy's on something. And I would be surprised if somebody says he is not.
Well, his hand speed's faster now than it was 10 years ago. You don't get your hands.
Yeah, I don't believe.
You get older. You watch his combinations, even when he's practicing.
Stop crying. They all taking shit up. But Canelo taking better shit.
No, I'm not crying about it. I'm not crying about it. Just
no, but I don't mind Canelo taking stuff, Jimmy. I don't mind that. I don't care.
No, I know.
What I'm saying is, I know Canelo's not letting his opponents take shit.
Well, what they do in the off season when they're not in contract, they could be doing that.
Yeah.
All right, now,
Jimmy,
fellas.
That's like me eating spinach. Me eating spinach, right? Throughout the year, but when it's time to fight you, I got to stop while you keep taking.
Oh my goodness gracious! Listen, hold on a second. Listen, you fellas are taking this way out of proportion here, opening up a can of worms that I am not ready to deal with. And besides, on top of that, fucking Slugger Sam is making an direct affront towards me. He continues to donate and continues to insult G Boogie at the same time. Says, Boogie, your brother pegging your father right now. Oh, come on now. See, now you're going under the belt, man. And he donated again, says Boogie is wasting his welfare check on BDA donations. Well, first of all, I've seen G Boogie's car. I've seen his cars and his toys, and believe me, I don't think he's on welfare. And then High and Low Sports Centrum donated. He says, yo, get my sub. I'm glad to have stopped here. Oh, well, thank you, High Low. See, you don't need to donate anymore, man. Your subscription is more than enough, High Low. So thank you for your contribution. Priceless. That's priceless. Speaking of priceless, listen, you guys are keeping me on here. I think you're doing it on purpose. So as long as we're here,
I apologize.
Let's go. You don't need to apologize. Let's go to 443. He's been waiting a while. 443, you're on the air. 443, what's on your mind?
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
Good.
Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good. Okay, you know what I keep hearing when it comes to Canelo? I keep hearing what he's not doing and who he's fighting and da-da-da-da-da, but nobody ever says who he should fight and what they believe. I mean, now I'm hearing he's on steroids and all that stuff. I mean,
that's facts. He is on steroids.
He should fight, and what do you see that's so bad about him? Because I don't see it.
Nothing. I just don't believe that he's naturally. It's all natural that he's much stronger than guys that are 6'3" when he's fucking barely 5'8". I just don't believe it's authentic.
I don't think
that's
all.
Got that cinnamon strength, though, brother.
I don't think any boxer is all natural, and I don't think he's super stronger than anybody that he's fighting either. He might have better.
He's much stronger than Callum Smith in that fight. He was much stronger. When you can't take your opponent's punch, he's stronger. No, wait, time out. This is science. If me and you go toe to toe, and I hit you and you can't take it, I'm stronger than you. That's what that is.
Okay.
I am stronger
But
than you are.
he wasn't stronger than Miguel Cotto, but he's stronger than these fucking 200-pound guys.
That's what I'm saying.
But recognize. Let me ask you though. You're saying it because he's 5'8".
Day before we go all over the place. What did you see in that fight that made you believe that he couldn't take Callum's punch or whatever?
No, Callum couldn't take his punch. Is what I'm saying, bro.
Okay, well let me.
I didn't say Callum.
When it comes to
wait,
I didn't. All of that, it all starts in the mind. Also, it all starts in the mind. You know, sometimes it's fighting. Yes, sir.
Call it what I was. This is what I was saying. I was saying that it looked to me like Callum could not take Canelo's punches, right? And Gonzalo was saying that he thinks it was because he was afraid of the counter. That means when you're afraid to let your hands go because you're going to get hit with something, that means you can't take the opponent, the person.
That means you shouldn't be a boxer.
Right, that's all it means, man. He's much stronger than this. That means
body, right? He was
but it could be speed as well. It's not only strength.
Yeah, guys, you're talking. Hold on. You're talking. Hold on. You're talking, guys. Can you hear me? You're talking over each other. Hold on. Let the caller finish his point. Caller, go ahead, and then we'll get to recognize because he seems to be having the most of it here. Go ahead, caller.
Right. You know what I was saying. If he was countering to his body, Callum is a slim guy. He's not super built or anything. So after a while, man, nobody wants to take body punches. It's just a natural thing. I don't really think he's as dirty as people say he is. I don't think he's as clean as he should be either. But everybody is taking a little bit of something to get that edge. It's just that he has that edge because he has some talent. And yeah, he might be taking something. I don't know, and I don't care. I'm just enjoying the fight. I'm enjoying what he's doing, but I don't see the wrong that he's doing because I keep hearing people shoveling all this dirt.
Hey, Carlo, what's there to enjoy in these fights?
Wrong. I don't like who he's
The other guy isn't even throwing.
Hold on.
What are you enjoying about?
Precise.
Can you answer the question? What are you? Hey, Carlo, what are you enjoying about the other guy not fighting back?
That has absolutely nothing to do with Alvarez at all. That's the other fighter's choice. So you can't blame.
That has everything to do with Alvarez. That has everything to do with Alvarez.
Two of them.
Yeah, but you're disregarding what Alvarez is. Look, what I'm saying is this. Alvarez, let this sink in for a second. At 168, and his one fight at 175 pounds, he was stronger than all his opponents who had been career champions and world beaters when it came to Kovalev at their weight class, at these bigger weight classes, who knocked people the fuck out. Who knocked people the fuck out when Canelo, who had showed that he wasn't way stronger than people at 154. Against the lower level he was, but against the higher level, he wasn't way stronger. When he went up in weight, he showed to be much stronger than these guys. Okay? And that to me, I believe, my opinion is that Canelo is, what he's doing is some fuckery outside the ring. He's taking while these guys can't, and he's slapping rehydration clause. That's why he's much stronger. That's my belief.
And if
you can't. No. You gotta let Jimmy. You gotta let the caller reply.
Respond. As far as when it comes to Kovalev, you're focused on the Kovalev of old. He fought an old Kovalev. That's just the facts. He fought an older Kovalev who's been through some things, and he's really on his last leg if he's not finished already. So it wasn't that he was super stronger than him. He just caught him on the downside.
So then why are we giving him props then? Why are we giving him so much props for that win? Why are we giving him props?
Okay. I don't see any problem with that because that's been going on in boxing for years. He's still the smaller man and the shorter man going up to Kovalev. The fact that Kovalev was on the downside of his career, it was Kovalev's job to finish the shorter, smaller man. It wasn't the shorter man's job to stand there and get knocked out by Kovalev. So I don't know what the problem is in that. Now we can take it back to present day. the fact that these guys that he's fighting might be shook before they get in the ring, that's not his problem. The fact that he has this.
No, I'm not saying this is problem in terms of a winning strategy.
That clause too, doesn't he? Doesn't he have that?
No, this is what I'm trying to tell you, bro. He doesn't have to oblige.
Okay, well, listen.
He doesn't have to do anything.
No one is forcing them to take these contracts, right?
Let me be real clear.
No one is forcing them
What
to
I'm
take
accusing
these contracts
Canelo of is having a physical advantage by contract. That's what I'm accusing him of. Okay, let me make it perfectly clear.
I understand that.
I am saying that I wish Canelo would make his contracts public to prove somebody like me wrong.
No.
And then I'll shut up.
He doesn't have to prove anything. He doesn't have to prove anything because he's not forcing these guys.
No, I know that he doesn't. But I'm not going to buy.
As far
I'm
as
not
the
going to drink the
rehydration
Kool-Aid
contracts,
that he's pound for pound the best fighter ever.
I'm sure he's not telling
I'm
them
not drinking it.
that they have to come in at 168. Period.
The guy got busted for taking steroids already.
Recognize. Hold on. All right, fellas. First of all, we're going in circles here because we started talking about whether Canelo was shocking these guys with his counterpunching or whether he was weakened by the stipulations. Now we're talking about how much credit we're going to give him. I think at this point, and we touched on this on the last step. Well, that's the thing. We touched on this on the last episode. Some people are going to give him zero credit. Other people are going to give him some credit, and other people are still undecided about what the hell is going on with this guy. Because the fact is, like Gonzalo and Bucho say, the guy's skilled. And Recognize and Precise are saying he's skilled, but they feel that those stipulations in the contracts and the fact that he's the ace and he gets to call the shots, that those are surely affecting the fight in one sense or another, and that we can never really know how the fights would have played out had they been 50-50.
BDA, if I tell you, if you lose to me,
precise. I got him. Hold on, fellas, you're killing me over here. You're killing me, fellas. You're killing me over here. I'm like a Jewish guy. You're killing me if you do this. All right. OG Boogie. Oh my goodness gracious. Guys, please, because I got to get to some of these super chats to levy the situation here. Slugger Sam keeps going after fucking G Boogie donated the super chat, and I gotta read the super chats. That's the rule here, all right? Because people spend hard-earned money. I gotta stop it. Slugger Sam said the difference between me, OG Boogie said Slugger. The difference between you and me is I earn my money properly with hard work, and that's why it's never ending. Keep your $2.79. So then Slugger Sam came back says with another super chat says Boogie, give this rent money to your sister. I fed her. Oh boy. And then G Boogie came back, and I don't normally like to say how much money people donated, but it suffice to say he beat Slugger Sam out the water.
Just say it. I think he deserves it.
He donated
$100. Everybody can see it, man. You don't have to hide it.
I know. But he says, yeah, that's a good point. But he said he donated 100 buckaroos, and he says, like I said, I got that Arab money. All right. So then I think
Arab money.
I think then hold on. Slugger Sam came back, says, all right, fellas, I'll see you later with his contribution. And then OG Boogie, another contribution, says, take your $2.79 butt to sleep. All right, fellas, I hope that's enough, man. I hope that's enough. Because somebody said that Butch is going to spend his money on fucking alcohol. But anyway,
heroin.
But anyway, listen.
Go Bucho.
This whole. What?
Let me make my final comment because I know you have other callers you want to jump to.
Yes, please call.
The contracts about all of that, I'm sure he's not telling them that they have to come in at 168. I'm sure he's telling them they could come in a little bit over that, which still makes them bigger than him and taller than him. So I don't see the advantage to him. That's the same thing he had with Kovalev, that he told Kovalev that he could come in at 188 pounds or whatever the case may be.
No.
Contract.
Yeah, the 10 pound. Look,
right.
Sergey, Callum, answer me this. Sir, tell me how you feel about this. Sergey had a $4 million bonus. Hold on. He had a $4 million bonus if he lost it to Canelo. If he beat Canelo, the bonus goes away. What do you think about that? That was in the contract.
Suspect. I'm sorry.
That was publicized. This was publicized.
Listen.
Hold on. Recognize. We gotta let the guy.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I can't hear the guy. I can't hear.
Okay, go ahead, caller.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, this is my final word, and then you take the rest of the
All right.
callers.
Denial.
Hold on.
Denial.
Hold on. Come on.
And I don't really give a damn about nothing else. That's probably why things go in circles when you speak to me, because I really just don't give a damn about anything else. I just want to see a good fight. I don't focus on nothing.
I agree.
You know,
I agree, man. I want to see good fights too. That's it. I want to see guys having equal chances to.
Well, you have a good night.
You too, man. Thank you for calling
You
in.
too.
All right, so
Listen,
yeah, man, this whole thing. Well, you go ahead, Regulus. But this whole Canelo thing.
No, I was
going to
say, look, if
nuts,
that's
man.
true, I have no idea if that's true. Look,
It
I'm not
is
calling.
true.
I'm
It
not
was
calling Precise.
publicized.
I'm not calling Precise a liar. I'm not
It's
saying
a
that.
boxing scene.
I want to see a link on that.
Okay, if that's true, right? And
I've never.
knowing
That's
from
crazy.
watching Precise's videos, hold on, let me just say this.
The zone thing?
From watching Precise's videos, I have never really known him to like say that something was on a contract. Then I go look at it and it's not there. Okay, so
this is it.
give him the benefit
Let
of the
me
doubt and
explain.
say that he's not doing that.
I simplified it. I simplified it because that's what it means. If Sergey beat Canelo, he gets no fights with the DAZN. If he loses to Canelo, he gets 2 more fights at $2 million each. So what does that say? That says if you lose to Canelo, you gotta show up and fight 2 more times, but you get a $4 million bonus. You beat his ass, that goes away. Like, what does that tell you? I mean, this is not rocket science. I don't understand why.
Well, that's a little different than this $4 million in cash.
Jimmy, please.
Yeah, but this,
that's
still.
Can you guys hear me?
Go Bucho. Let Bucho go.
Yeah, I think Bucho wants to say something.
Go ahead, Bucho.
Oh, thanks. I don't know what the fuck with the mic. Anyways, yeah, I think was he with Bob Arum or something? Kovalev was. Anyways, I think if he lost, then if he would have won, then he would have won more money because it would have been a rematch. So I think that's how we. Like, what would have happened if Kovalev?
You're cutting off, Bucho.
You're telling me what you believe would happen. You're telling me what you believe would happen. I'm telling you what contract.
You're telling me it's unlikely there would have been a rematch.
I don't know.
Did you answer that?
That's speculation. You trying to put
Well, you don't know, but it's likely that it would have been a rematch. I mean, that's insane, though. That would have been insane. There's no rematch after Kovalev wins. I mean, come on.
Why would there be a rematch if they're incentivizing the guy to lose? Why would there be a rematch?
No, he's incentivized to win because there's more money after the incentive is more money.
What was the incentive?
You're assuming that.
But
you don't have any
no, I think it's not an assumption. It's
name me one. Name me one other instance in the history of boxing where a guy got a contract for 2 more fights at $2 million each or anything like that for losing. Name me another instance of anything like that in the history of boxing. Come on, man.
All right. I don't need to name another instance because even if there is one or there isn't, it doesn't matter. What matters here is the situation, which is the zone. They wanted more fighters, right? At that point, what is because he was fighting on ESPN, Kovalev was, right? So him losing, he loses a lot of value. There's no point in him staying at ESPN. They might as well release the guy. If he loses, if he wins, he wasn't going to go to the zone, right? He wasn't going to fight against with the zone. If he would have won, of course, they probably would have had that fight on ESPN or something, and they would have been holding all the cards.
The guy came out after the fight and said, "If you believe that he could win, then you're stupid." That's what he said after the fight.
But now you're moving to another thing, though. We're talking about here what you said about. So what? He said, okay, now we're moving, guys. You want to talk about that? That's another separate topic, though. We're talking about the money, the incentives here.
I'm saying if he beats,
guys,
him,
you can. I don't know. I can't even fucking talk here, man.
Bucho, you're echoing a little with me right now, dude. I don't know if that's with everybody else.
Yeah, you're cutting off a little bit. Hold on. Can I say something here? Because we're having some connection. We're having connection issues here. It seems like Bucho's on a delay, man. Because people talk and then it takes you 3 seconds to reply. So I think Bucho, step out and then step in because we're having connection issues with you, man.
No, it's fine, man. I'm done.
And you were cutting off.
Bucho, it doesn't really matter.
All right, and you were cutting.
No.
Listen,
I'm not whining. No, guys, I'm not.
And you were
I'm
cutting
not whining.
off.
It's fine. I'm tired.
Yeah. Bucho understands the show. But he's also sympathizing with me because it's been 3.5 hours here. But hold on a second. To diffuse the situation here, because we're going off, we always end up talking about Canelo Kovalev for some reason here. So let me go to the phone calls real quick. Hopefully it's about something else. 510, you're on the air. 510, what's on your mind? 510, you're on the air.
Damn, I can't hear him.
510, going once, going twice.
Damn.
All right. We gotta move.
He sounded super low. Like I heard something, but it sounded real
I
low.
didn't hear shit. All right, hold on a second, real quick.
Toledo.
Oh, 419, you're on the air, man. What's up?
Bring it, T-Tone. Let's go.
T-Tone, hopefully, I don't know what this... Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, fantastic.
Hey, Canelo's a fraud. Prove me wrong.
Man, hey, Precise, man. He took a Canelo medicine. He needs to take some medicine, man. He's over there comparing Canelo to Garcia. Man, he's boxing blind. BDA.
Hey, remember the good old times, brother.
I'm listening, T-Tone. I'm listening.
Yeah, get ready to talk about some good old times. Hey, now, why ain't anybody putting Precise straight? Man, Canelo, man.
I don't think you heard
in your
Bucho.
face. He's in your face. He's dipping and diving 2 inches. He don't have to move a whole lot. Man, to say that the other guys ain't throwing back because they don't want to. Man, Canelo, the feint game is such a big part of boxing, man, that they don't even talk about Canelo. Man, he comes inside. He moves the best, man. Canelo just has to move a little bit, and he deflects the punches. And then when you throw your punch, man, you're going to get hit. And after you get hit in the first couple rounds, you're not going to be throwing like you usually do. So don't take away from Canelo because Canelo's, puts the moves on, man. You're watching the best.
Yeah, man, I mean...
can fight like Canelo. I've been watching boxing long. Man, Canelo, man, he's special, man. And you know
All right, hold on.
Yeah,
we got
special,
your point.
bro.
We got your. Hold on.
He got the best
Because when
boxing.
we got your Tito, we got your point. Tito, we got. Okay, we got your point. Now we gotta let Precise reply because he came in with the Riddler laugh. Go ahead, Precise.
I'm sorry. Look. I don't have to respect any of your feints. All I gotta do is stick my hand out, tap you on the head, and you can swing at hair. It's like a bigger brother holding a little brother back with his arm stretched out. Your feints don't mean anything to me if you can't even reach me because I got 8 inches of reach on you. Your feints don't mean anything.
Yeah, but you can't keep your arm out.
Didn't it? You watched it right in front of your face. Don't turn the TV off, Precise, and then talk about watching the highlights. Watch the goddamn fight.
Yeah, by the way, Precise, did you end up watching the whole fight? Because when we were doing the post fight, you said you watched the first 6. I mean, I'm assuming you watched the whole fight.
Yeah, and then you guys told me Callum just curled up into a ball and let Canelo, and he was smiling at Canelo as Canelo. Okay, let him yell.
No, go ahead. go ahead. Jeez. All right. I was gonna let you go, Precise, but anyway, listen. The point is. All right, Tito.
It was a fake beat up.
Tito, we got your point. He's turned up. By the way, Tito still wants to go on the. Tito, do you still want to go on the Kumite? Tito, do you still want to go on the Kumite? By the way.
Man, Bucho, he got kidnapped by the Mongols or something.
Who's Bucho?
He ain't calling out no Kumite. He was gonna call it a month ago, man.
Because I set up the match and it never happened. I don't know who he wanted to debate anymore.
All
right, Titon, remind us. Titon, órale. Titon. Vato, remind me who you wanted to debate, because I forgot too who you wanted to debate.
Well, me and D was supposed to debate, and then he backed out.
Titon's on fire today.
Yeah, dude. On fire. He threw you under the bus.
Oh my gosh, Tito.
Yeah, I like how Titon goes. I wanted to debate D, but then he called me up and he said, "Don't hurt me." Titon's like he's got a whole story about this.
I need evidence. I want evidence on that one. I'm not just gonna take your word for it.
And then he backed out.
All right. Well,
But we were going to go on, but he don't want to go on. Ask him if he wants to go on about Loma dropping down the powerful found. Listen, he spoke his mind twice.
Tito, I don't know what the debate is. What's the debate, Tito? A human being can't change their mind after a fight? Is that the debate? Dude, you crazy as shit.
What do you want to debate that?
I don't know. I don't know what you guys want to debate. You have to.
Canelo's a fraud, T-Tone.
Well, then that's a
Canelo's
good
a
We
fraud.
can't have a
is mine.
debate on that. What is the debate?
Shit.
What is the debate?
Hey, well, look at. Hey, here's what I'm calling for, BDA. Hey, man, let's. You know, when you see like a beautiful boxing match, man, and then if you want to say, oh, you know, Smith didn't try, oh, he wasn't throwing no punches, man. You got to look at why he wasn't throwing punches, because he was getting fainted every time he would throw. Canelo would just let him throw, man, and move at the last inch. He only had to move an inch or two. When have you seen that? You don't see that, man. Canelo's showing you something that, man, enjoy it, man.
Yeah, Tito, sorry to interrupt you, man, but we did go. Sorry to interrupt you, but we did go through that, man. We went through the whole thing. Listen, at this point, it doesn't matter. Both guys both sides here presented their points fairly. The only way we're gonna get to somewhere now is if we break down the film itself to see what we can. You know, both guys submit evidence, and then we get to another stage of this debate. But for the moment,
I'm down.
we don't have time.
I'm down with that. I'm down
right.
with that.
I would love to do it.
Let's do it.
I would love to do it too, but we also have a whole bunch of other things to get to, including Second Renaissance. Subscribe to Second Renaissance if you haven't done so already, by the way, fellas. But listen, at the end of the day, the only way we're going to get to another level of this is, like I said, watching the video evidence. So, T-Tone, we got to move on, but anything else you want to say before we go?
You guys can watch the film over and over, and then I'll just remember what happened.
Fantastic. All right, take it easy, T-Tone. Thank you for your call, and thank you for your contributions, man. Take it easy.
All right, B-Day, I'll talk to you next time.
Saludos. All right. Now we gotta go, fellas. We gotta go. I'm holding on.
BDA, can I say one last thing?
Great talk, man. Great talk, y'all.
Go ahead, fucking Gonzalo.
Yeah, apologize to King Bucho for shouting. My bad. I think
don't apologize to him.
Don't maybe lost my cool, but it's all right. Like, sometimes I think he hates on Mexicans, and he got that cactus right in his forehead too. He's got that nopal, so you need to recognize.
You talk? Oh, recognize.
I'm so pro-Mexican, man. Come on.
I'm just kidding, man. All right.
Very.
All right. I'm gonna try to do a early show right after the Tanaka Ioka fight, because I do believe I've got time for that.
When's that fight, BD? I sound like a casual right now, but
it's gonna be.
It's the 31st.
It's in. Was that?
Oh, it's the. Oh, yes.
No, but he has the time. He has the time. The time. It should be at in the morning here, Eastern time. So about maybe 7.
Okay.
Yeah, 6:30 in the morning, 7 in the morning. I think it's going to be a good one. It's a good way to end the year. And then just that Saturday, a couple of days later on Saturday, we got Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. That's going to be an interesting one for sure, man. I don't know if it's going to be an entertaining fight, but by the way, Elias Tufexis in the chat room says, is Second Renaissance next? No, man, I'm fucking beat up over here. So no Second Renaissance tonight. Bucho, when do you think you're going on the air next? I don't want to put you on the spot, but from here to...
On Tuesday, I'm doing the year-end awards. So we're going to be presenting the best BDA panelists, the best BDA caller, best BDA moment, also fight of the year, and all that shit, knockout of the year.
Now, I don't know if I'm going to be on that day, but if I'm not, I just want to say that despite what any of these awards might say, I think you're all winners. What do you think about that? Doesn't that sound like
participation trophies?
That's right. We're going to get some participation trophies.
All right.
Doesn't that sound like something a teacher would say, like a blonde white teacher, and like she tries to treat everyone equally, but at the same time,
wait, is she hot?
She's hot, but secretly she's prejudiced because when she was young.
Keep talking.
All right, whatever. Anyway, listen. Thanks to everybody who showed up, all the panelists. Shout out to you guys, Gonzalo, Precise, D, Recognize, Bucho, Jimmy. Stu was here earlier as well, so shout out to you fellas. Thank you for joining us. Want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room too, but before I do that, everybody that donated via the super chats, and we did get a whole lot of activity there, so shout out to you guys. I'm talking about Vader D, Chris K, Kenshiro, Slugger Sam, G Boogie and Slugger Sam a whole bunch of times as well, Mar the Machine, and High and Blow Sports Centrum, Virtuoso. So shout out to you fellas. Yeah, man. I mean,
by the way, Djibouti sent me additional money to buy a drink.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
What did he say? What did he say?
I thought you finished doing rehab.
He says, Bucho, this is for you. It's enough to get a Long Island tea Lol. Thanks, G Boogie.
Long Island LIT. What are
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I went to rehab in Florida. Just came
Long
out.
Yeah, we need to send them 12 steppers from NA from TJ to go get tie them up and take them back to the program.
All right, listen. Shout out to all of you fellas. Thank you for your contributions. Really appreciate it. Shout out to everybody in the chat room as well, by the way. Everybody who listened, guys, you're the best. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit that like button, man. Hit that thumbs up button. I don't know what if you haven't done so already. I don't know what's wrong with you.
See, this is the best. This is the best platform to debate. You see how we debate and we go at each other, but we still talk. That's how you debate. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, come on. It's only boxing, man. For Pete's sakes.
It's only boxing, man.
Right.
So what's next? Recognize Ryan Garcia fight for fix 2. We'll see.
Oh.
We'll see.
Gonzalo throwing.
Ryan Garcia's all right, man. He's all right.
He's okay.
He's all right. He's good, man.
He's an okay kid.
I'll give him a great shot.
He's an okay kid.
A great shot.
Yeah, he's an okay kid. He never hurt nobody.
He's a good-looking kid. What do you want from me? He's a good-looking kid.
My boy never hurt nobody. All right, listen, fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Shout out to Low Blow Boxing, Canelo, UK Killer, Alex Stancato, Iceman, Carlos Mendoza, OG Boogie, Avalon, Kevin the Carrot, White Devil, Brian Harkin, Zidane Zizou, Elias Tufexis, Virtuoso. Who else was in there as well here? Vince Vega, Carlos Mendoza. We got to go up here. Jet Kyle was in there as well. Shout out to Jet Kyle, DJ Big Leg. Who else was here? Bucho was in there. Chats Fords Gallery. And many more fellas. If I missed anybody, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. You guys are the best. Pete was in the chat. Pete, shout out to Pete. Mr. Wawa, Truth Son, Mikey BZ, Reverse Lee. Shout out to Reverse T-Tone. Speaking of T-Tone, everybody that called in. Guys, you're the best. Thank you for joining us. Catch you in the next one. Take it easy, fellas.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be alright, Nicky. Go ahead. Shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're heavy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're heavy because you got nothing.
Lobito!
Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.